Christmas is coming, the snowflakes will be falling. It's the most wonderful time of year. So hang up your stockings, put the tinsel on the tree, because Christmas is coming, my dear. It's the only time of year the reindeer fly. You can see them on their sleigh ride across the sky. Gather all your family round, or go out and paint the town. It's the only time of year the whole wide world turns upside down. So baby, light a fire, and we'll toast the night away, because Christmas is coming our way. Reindeer fly. You can't see them on their sleigh ride across the sky. Gather all your friends around, or go out and paint the town. It's the only time of year the whole wide world turns upside down. So baby, light a fire, and we'll toast the night away, because Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming.
Hello, hello. Oh. Back in a minute. Okay. Why? That's only in my headphones. Is that happening on yours, Andy?
Hello.
That's so weird, eh? Hello. Okay, so it's something to do with that microphone. Okay. Check.
Echo.
Hello.
There we go.
So me and you were all right. You know what I mean? What's going on here? Stand by. Enjoy this 380, guys.
Awesome views there. Emirates A380 arriving at Manchester Airport. A little bit early today. Makes a change. Maybe she'll get out early too.
Hello.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Hello.
Echo.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
What?
Hello. Hello.
Very quiet.
You're very quiet. Santa's too quiet. Talk better. Out louder? Louder, 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 louder. There you go. Right. Hello, everybody. Oh, my gosh. Welcome in to your midweek show on Airliners Live. And there's Mr. Brownbill up on the roof. Whoa. Looking absolutely fresh. And we got some people to thank. First of all, with Janet Burns. First of all.
Oh.
With the crew seat membership for 22 months.
Wow. Jeanette, thank you. Janet, rather.
And we also had Plane Spotting Mike Live returning for 20 months of Airliners Live membership, saying really happy to be a part of the community. Happy Christmas, Airliners Live. Martin and Andy. And shall we have a look who we got with us today then, folks? That's Andy. That's me and Santa. Oh, no. I want to go home. Can I go home? It just fell off the window. It fell off the window. As soon as we said hello, it fell off the window. Oh, I love Airliners Live.
Yeah, very warm welcome, everybody. Midweek madness here. This is the second to last show before our Christmas Eve special on Sunday, so do tune in to that. Be live at the usual time on Sunday. But today we got the last midweek show of the year. That's crazy.
It is. And as you can see, it's a very damp and wet Manchester Airport at the moment. But such is life.
Move this down a little bit. There you go.
What are we doing?
We've got the Emirates A380 pulling onto stand as well. A lot of support already in the chat. Don't worry, folks. We will catch up with that soon.
Yep, bear with me, folks. Just getting this put back on.
Oh, yes.
And then we should be Gucci. But yeah, this is the last midweek show before we roll into the Christmas period. And those button presses we need to do again, Andy.
Oh, lovely. I feel like we're going to have to do that every time.
Okay, right. Sorry, guys. It's a bit of a chaotic start to the show. We've got people knocking on, we've got things falling off the windows. Stand by, folks. Okay, we can see what looks to be Lanzarote on your camera at the moment. But anyway, welcome in, folks, to the midweek show. We have got with us a certain somebody.
Yes, I've come all the way from the North Pole today to see you and see if you've been good boys. I think Fez is getting a lump of coal today.
Again,
yeah. Yes. Unfortunately, Rudolph's not very well. He ate one of the Christmas trees and now he's got tinselitis. Dear. Anyway, morning all.
How are you doing?
All right, all the better for seeing you lot.
It's not the best weather. You was looking at the old weather.
Yeah, it's
Bit blustery, isn't it?
Yeah,
Gonna get
last
worse
time I
tomorrow.
looked, it was 270.19, gusting 29 knots. It's 40 degrees off, coming over the terminal.
Yikes.
So yeah, it's not looking very nice. The windsock's all over the place at the moment. So yeah, it should be an interesting show.
Yeah, a bit blustery, as you can see on the apron. It's a bit wet and windy and
Moist.
So
moist.
we spoke a lot about the A320s with the sharklets. Obviously, they're a bit tricky to navigate in the or to fly in the strong gusts. But what's Santa's sleigh like?
Oh, Santa's sleigh is a beautiful thing.
Is it?
Matched only by the Boeing 757.
Ah,
Yes.
similar design principles.
Yes, I'm sure the reindeers are powered by Rolls-Royce carrots as well. You know. Yes, no, Santa's sleigh handles majestically in the wind. It has its own little force field, so it's not affected by the wind. But yeah, no, Santa's sleigh is great in the wind.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
There
Yes,
you go.
a lot better than the Airbus. Clearly wasn't designed by Airbus.
So if anyone wants to know early on if they are on the nice list or the naughty list, guys, we got the guy in the know here with us. Get a message in the chat. Let us know what you've been up to this year, and let us know the nicest thing you've done this year, maybe the silliest thing you've done this year, and Santa will tell you whether you're on the nice list or the naughty list. We'll have a check.
That's a good idea.
Bear with us. So if you press that camera button again, Andy, because I just want to get this fixed now.
Side or top?
I guess it's going to have to be the top.
There's Plane Spotting Mike live saying hello Santa. He's in the nice list. He's a good man. We like Plane
Hey.
Spotting Mike.
Keep going.
Yes, we like him. He's on the nice list. And
Oh,
Tom and Anne,
power it off and
happy
on if you
birthday for you guys. They're on the nice list.
We've also got quite a few people. We got up to Plane Spotting Mike. If you want to scroll through those, Santa, whilst me and
Yeah,
Andy get
certainly.
sorted
So
here.
we've got Mike Rogers has gifted an Airliners Live membership. Thank you very, very much, Mike. You're on the nice list. Matt Healy, he's gifted 5 Airliners Live memberships. He's on the nice list. No cold for you this year. Wayne Corkwell signed up for 44 months. Thank you very, very much. You're definitely on the nice list. And the lovely Jane Chu, she's gifted an Airliners Live membership. Another one on the nice list. Santa will be coming down your chimney in a couple of days' time. Joanne Hartley, she's gifted an Airliners Live membership. Thank you very, very much. So, and Dan Bond, he's now a member for 21 months. And the legend himself, young Terry Edwards, member for 22 months. And he's saying happy birthday to Tom and Anne. He's been a good boy, honest. I know you have, Terry. Santa knows these things. And Lord Jozo signed a member for 18 months. Merry Christmas to you too. Oh,
And
jingly bells.
it appears we got our very first mega bong
Oh.
of the show. Who's that, Santa?
Well, that is Sam Donison, and he's gifted 10 Airliners Live memberships. So thank you very, very much for that, Sam.
Cheers, Sam. What a legend. Thank you very, very much for supporting the stream. We did get Santa to record that ho-ho last week, and now you can hear it live in the show as well. But don't worry, guys, there is not much aviation action just yet, and we're just getting the last few things tidied up here. Give it a... This is so awkward because you can't see what I can see. We're just trying to... What we're trying to do, folks, we're trying to just get Andy's camera back on. It was on, it's gone off, and there's no sort of easy way of me fixing it without just telling him over the microphone. So,
Yeah.
if you're pressing... Is a side button.
To navigate, yeah.
Press the side button to navigate. Keep going. Keep going. Right, now press the top. Okay, right, now press the side button. Right, 1, 2, 3, one more, and now the top. And now, as if by magic, folks, we have Mr. Andy Brownbill back up on the roof. Let's get some 10 out of 10s, because if one more thing breaks, I'm going up. All right.
This should be a bit brighter now as well, hopefully.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is a lot better now.
Wow, look how wide that camera is. That is wild. Anyway, you know what is wild? The winds here at Manchester today. As Santa mentioned, we're gusting like around 30 knots today. And it's pretty wild.
Is the external mic on the roof?
Yep.
Why is it so quiet?
I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weird.
I needed the high cut on the thingy, but I don't know if that's...
Yeah, I did.
Got a Loganair Embraer J145 coming in.
Thank you very much, Sam, as well, for the 10 gifted memberships, mate. That's absolutely awesome. And Lord Lambo also subscribing at Tier 1 for 4 months on the Twitch stream. Thank you very much for supporting us on Twitch. Welcoming everybody who's watching on Twitch as well. Hope you're all doing well.
So, Santa, is he still there?
Yeah.
How does it work then? Because you seem to know a lot about planes. Is that something you need to do before you get...
Well, yes, because what happens is nice airlines lend Santa a plane in the month of December, so he can get some practice in. And there were some pictures around last year of Santa in an aircraft getting his practice in while the reindeers are having their noses polished and their bottoms wiped and their carrots, and getting ready for the big day. So Santa gets to fly normal aircraft in December, just to keep his hand in, get his practice up, and then for the real day, we don't want any disasters, do we? We've got a lot of people to go and see. Lots of chimneys to come down.
Between here and the North Pole, there is a country called Iceland, and I think they're having a bit of a volcanic eruption at the moment. Is that something you need to factor in?
No, because the reindeers can just fly around it. It's very good. And the reindeers aren't affected like jets are. It doesn't matter if they get a bit of dust. It just brushes off, a bit of volcanic ash on them. But as we know, if jet engines get volcanic ash in them, they don't like it very much. And I think that's on one of those nice Pilot Explain videos that's coming up very soon. We talked about that.
Do you know anyone who was flying back in 2010 when...
Yeah, me. Sorry, a friend of mine was. And he was coming back from Malaga. And they said, get as far north as you can, because the dust was coming, and we're flying back up, and ended up diverting into Liverpool. You could actually see the sky was brown. And they said, yeah, don't go any further. The air traffic was all closing, so we went into Liverpool.
So how far were you trying to get?
Newcastle at the time.
Oh, Newcastle.
And then we ended up in a cab for several hours back to Newcastle. And as we got there, it turned out Newcastle was actually in a hole. And a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine who's at Jet2 now, was tasked with getting to Stansted on a 737. And the only way he could do it was to fly out to Amsterdam and then fly back in underneath the cloud. And he wasn't very happy. He didn't look very happy about it. So what he did the old Boeing trick of fuel-wise. It was full wings and trip in the centre. So you fill the wings up and you put what fuel you need for the actual trip in the centre tank. So you've got loads of fuel. And he managed to get to Stansted. He managed to get back to Newcastle. Remember, while the ash cloud was there, Newcastle was open for days, where everywhere else was shut because it was in this funny hole. It was like a letter C over the UK, and you could get out of Newcastle and go around it.
Weird. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and it is potentially going to be affecting quite a bit of aviation around that part of the world as well. Or already is affecting.
Well, some of my friends have been up there over the last few days, and they've got some fantastic pictures of it. And one, actually, she got the pictures of the volcano with the northern lights over it.
Wow. It's a once-in-a-lifetime photo, that.
Brussels Airlines A320 blasting out of Manchester. And we also had another mega bong in the show. Coming from Amy, staff nurse, with all the best dinners.
Hey.
All the best dinners in the Discord channel. Gifting 10 Airlines Live gifted memberships. Thank you very, very much, Amy, for every one of those, and thank you for getting so involved in the Discord as well. We really appreciate that. 10 gifted memberships. If you just receive one of those, make sure you get a thank you in the chat as well, guys, for Amy. And we also had Darren sending in a £5 donation saying, treat yourself to a nice hot drink, have a lovely Christmas, Martin, Andy, Matt, and a happy new year from Darren. Thank you very much, Darren. Really appreciate it, mate. Hope you all have a great Christmas as well. For anyone wondering, we are going to be live on Sunday coming, which is Christmas Eve, and we're going to be live the following Sunday, which is New Year's Eve. The little Wednesday show in between, we're going to take off. We're just going to have a little week off in between. But the 2 Sunday shows either side, guys, we're still going to be live for.
Amazing.
So we look forward to seeing all of you in there, and plenty of people getting involved in the stream would be awesome.
A bit of time off, spend with the family, and sure, we're all looking forward to the festive season as well.
Well, the wind at the moment is 270.18 and it's variable, so it's all over the place. So, yeah, that's not much fun. It won't be much fun, especially if you're landing today.
It's coming from a lot from the northwestish sort of direction, isn't it?
Yeah, it's westerly at the moment. I think it's going to swing around a bit. It's going to pick up to 42 or 49 knots tomorrow morning. That'll be fun. That will be fun.
Let me just fix the Twitch title as well. Thank you, Sonny, for pointing that out.
Working on Sunday, so all the best to the AL community. Thank you, Stuart, and yeah, thanks for letting us know. Like I said, there's still one more show of the year after that, which is the following Sunday, which I'm sure we'll have a nice recap of everything. We'll have a catch-up, talk about our favourite moments of the year. It's been a very big year on Airliners Live. You know, I although this year's gone really fast, I will look back at the footage that we were getting this time last year and stuff, and it just seems so long ago. It's weird. It's weird, the sort of paradox of time.
I've got a comment here on the chat from David Trevelyan. Santa sounds like that Captain Mark Langston. Now, I think that David Trevelyan, I'm sure that's a bloke I used to work with, my friend Mark used to work with many, many years ago. And I remember Captain Mark years ago, when he was just a lowly private pilot, took this David Trevelyan up for a fly in a Diamond Katana out of Elstree. And that must be 30 years ago now. If that's the same David, I hope you're doing very, very well. But yeah, David had a real passion for aviation and for planes. Santa had a question. Someone was asking, does Santa practice for emergencies with the reindeer, like if they lose a shoe? No. We make sure their shoes are on very, very soundly.
Yeah.
There is an old joke where Santa goes for his yearly test with the Civil Aviation Authority, and the CA guy gets in the sleigh with a big shotgun, and Santa sort of looks at him with his shotgun, and he says, what's going on? And the CA man says, well, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but you're going to lose an engine on takeoff.
I suppose it's not such a big deal on the old sleigh, is it? You only got 2 engines on most airliners.
Oh, well, we've had plenty there. It's like the 340-600s. If you lose an engine on that, you just continue. Keith's asking, do we have to practice? Oh, yeah, losing a shoe on takeoff. And yes, I do trust the L's to get the load and balance right on the sleigh. They're very, very good. They're very, very good. The only person who does a better load sheet than the L's are the guys at DHL here. And there was a guy in Sierra Leone called Khalil. His load sheets were absolutely first class. Very, very good.
We're back now.
Cool.
We won't force you to stay in character all show.
That's handy.
I'm sure we can all guess who's with us today, folks. And thank you very much for making the effort to come down, mate. Appreciate it. And yeah, we're going to be blessed with the presence of a certain Airbus pilot as a rocket blasts off from 2-3. It's already gone. Can't see it anymore. You can hear it though. And how about you, Mark? Any plans over Christmas this year?
Just taking it easy.
Chilling,
yeah,
relaxing.
back up to the grim north tonight, and yeah, just putting my feet up. Got the mother-in-law and the oldest and her boyfriend coming over on the 29th, I think it is, and then Christmas Day it's just us.
Just yourself,
nice.
Yeah. I think on Christmas Day we've got Jen's mum and dad coming over, see my dad in the morning, and then it's kind of we kind of just left it open this year, to be honest, just to go with the flow and just see how we feel. I think we're going to try and nip down to make the most of that little week off in between and try and nip down to Anglesey at some point. I think
that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Go for a wander on the beach, even if it is freezing. We just go for a quick cheeky wander. But
be really not to, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Lee, thank you very much for sending in not that one, the donation, £3 donation, saying a Mars a day helps you work, rest and play, says Lee. I definitely agree with that one, mate. And RCRC, returning business class member, thank you very much for supporting the stream. And welcoming to everyone tuning in on Twitch as well. Thanks to all your support on the show the other day, guys. We managed to get over 100 subs on Twitch. So if you are able to support the channel, we're trying to push for 150 subs on Twitch, guys. If you can help us with that, that'd be absolutely awesome.
That'd be great. Darren saying it looks cold out there. It's not that bad, Darren, today. It's very windy, but it's not too cold today. It's about 10 degrees Celsius or something.
Amy staff nurse asking, do I leather a load of Xmas brandy when the autopilot's on? No. 12 hours bottle to throttle.
Wow. Tom and Anne. Gifting 10 Airliners Live memberships to the community. Thank you very, very much, guys. And it's your birthday today, isn't it? Is it today? Is it Tom's birthday today?
So, yeah.
It is. Happy birthday, mate,
Happy birthday,
from
Tom.
all of us. Hope you're having a great day, and thank you very much for triggering our third Mega Bong already on the stream, putting us to 38 brand new VIPs already on today's show, guys. What an incredible amount of support. Thank you very, very much, everybody, for supporting the channel this year. It's been absolutely awesome.
That's been good, hasn't it?
Melissa's saying she's going to Anglesey for 3 nights in the new year, so you never know.
Okay.
You might see her. She's probably going there to escape Fez's grief on his show. Poor
yeah,
girl.
what day are you going, Mel? Because I don't think we're going on that day.
Oh, look, Lufthansa. Now, that's interesting. Little Bird tells me the Lufthansa group have just ordered a load of 737 Maxes.
They have.
Yeah.
They have.
It's weird that, because it's been a while since I've seen a 737 in a Lufthansa scheme.
Yeah.
They're using them for the city jet line, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did wonder. We were saying wonder what they're going to use them for.
Yeah. That's what they currently use the CRJs on, isn't it? CRJ 900s, which you'll see at like Liverpool, for example. And also the Airbus. Did you mention the Airbus A220s as well?
I didn't, but yeah, I did hear about that as well.
Yeah, nice pair of Wookiees. I think. I mean, honestly, the A220s are like taking over at this rate.
Yeah, I'm surprised Lufty just didn't go with a load of A220s, to be honest.
Yeah.
With
With
that,
got a good deal.
I think everyone's getting a good deal on 737 Maxes at the moment, aren't they? But, guys, you are going nuts today on YouTube. Laurie M, our awesome moderator, from across the pond, gifting 10 Airliners Live memberships to the community.
Wow. Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you very, very much, Laurie. Really appreciate the 10 gifted memberships coming into the stream. There's a helicopter passing by in the background over there.
Is it the Barton Budgie?
It looks like it.
It does look like the Barton Budgie, doesn't it? The Withenshaw alarm clock. The Withenshaw wagtail. And my old mate Dave Trevelyan, that is who I used to work with, he's got one of the gifted memberships. That's great, so
nice.
He'll enjoy that.
Enjoy that. If you have just been gifted a membership, guys, please get a thank you in the chat. Feel free to use all of those channel emotes. You can use all those, and it's because it's a business class VIP membership as well. You do get access for 1 month to our discounts on our merch store, airliners.live, so make sure you head over there. Sunny saying we're only 44 subs away on Twitch from the 150, guys. Which would be awesome to hit on today's show if we can. Alexandra, thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome to you. And Sanchez, great to see you in the stream. And very big thank you to Graham Hill, who's just gifted 5 memberships. Folks, we are less than half an hour into the stream already, and we are on 53 gifted memberships on today's show. What an incredible amount of support. Thank you so much, guys.
Flying Architect saying that Lufty did get a very good deal on the 7.3. Boeing wanting them back because they were one of the original launch customers of the 7.3.
Right,
so that
okay.
makes a lot of sense.
That makes
Talking
sense.
of your A220, on Henry's stream the other day, the first Qantas Link one went in on its positioning flight down to Australia. And I'd sent the link to a friend of mine I used to know from the airline that I work for and from the BMX world. He is head of pilot training, I think, at Qantas for the bringing in of the A220.
Yeah.
And he was very excited to see the actual footage of it in the flesh. I saw a picture of it actually getting back into Australia the other day. When it actually finally got there, the weather was horrendous. It was much nicer in Vancouver, so maybe we got a good catch there with that one. Does look nice in that fancy colour scheme.
It does.
It really does.
It's a complete surprise, that, as well. We've seen it a couple of hours before Henry was meant to go live. Like, Henry, look, it's on the way in. Because they're manufactured in Montreal. And that must have been a ferry flight over to, I assume, Sydney, with a fueling stop at Vancouver.
Yeah, I think it stopped off in somewhere, one of the islands on the way over as well. It had a few little hops.
It's a long flight, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it's a long way. First of many.
Nice to see you, Jake, on the Twitch channel, mate. Hope you're doing well, dude. And here's a Aer Lingus ATR, which is still a bag of rice in Microsoft Flight Simulator, just saying. I gave it a fly the other day and it's still not all that. The A380 landed, unfortunately, already, Charlotte.
So as we were saying earlier, the wind's forecast to be around 30 knots on and off all day. Windsock's fairly flashy. That's a good word, isn't it? At the moment, but with the gust it picks up, it gets thrown all over the place. It was up to 29 knots earlier. It's sitting at about a steady 18 at the moment, and that's a 25 knot windsock looking out the window. So when it's horizontal, there's 25 knots. There's 25, or a little bit more now. So it's sitting there steady 25. But yeah, now it's down to next to nothing, which makes it interesting when you're coming into land, because suddenly you've got a load of wind that suddenly disappears and then suddenly comes back again. So it makes your life quite difficult. It's not much fun. We've got a Singapore 350 on the taxi at the moment. That will be good to see. And the Aer Lingus off to Bridgetown has just pushed as well, so that will be going out very, very soon. I don't know if you can hear that wind blowing off of the mic on the roof, but yeah, it's blowing quite well at the moment. Like I said, tomorrow morning it's supposed to be much worse. From 6 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be 280 for further round coming over the terminal, 25 knots, gusting 42, so it's about 45 mile an hour. And yeah, I'm glad I'm not at work tomorrow. I'm glad I'm not at work today. Martin's just nipped upstairs to sort out Andy's camera again. We've got an EasyJet taxiing out. How's that going? Ooh, Barcelona. It's muy buenos. Tango Yankee. And we'll get to see that Singapore 350 very soon when he taxis out. Plane Spotting Mike saying 20 days until he flies to Heathrow from Manchester. Can't wait yet. He's doing a stream out of Manchester. Okay. Plane Spotting Mike's working very hard on his channel. He's got lots of upcoming content. He's going to do one from Faro. He was going to do a live sort of chatty show on Christmas Day. I'm not sure if that's happened because he's had a bit of an accident, so I hope you're feeling better soon. And there's Singapore 350 just taxiing out now.
Nice. That'll be an awesome departure. And Nigel Roscoe returning for 26 months. Did we catch him?
I didn't.
Say, morning, chaps. Late on parade this morning. What have I missed? Nothing, mate. Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, nothing. We had a bit of Santa for a while. And yes, welcome in. Thank you very much for tuning in, mate. Hope you're doing well. And Klimber, thank you very much for tuning in on Twitch. Speedbird tuning in as well. Welcome in. And Albeck, thank you very much for tuning in today as well. We do have the Turkish A321 lining up, which is next to depart. There is a London Heathrow shuttle service just about to touch down right behind, and then I think the Singapore is number 2 behind an EasyJet to depart. So plenty of aviation action coming up. This Singapore should sound awesome as well, hopefully. And Terry Edwards, thank you very much, mate, for the £2 donation, saying 60k subs to go on the road to 1 million. Yeah, it's getting pretty close now, isn't it? Getting pretty close. At the top of the ILS, the wind's showing at 276 at 45.
What?
Jeez. Yeah, I was flying into Manchester in the sim last night, and it was 35 knots.
Oof.
On the top of the ILS.
That's surely going to create some wind shear then, right?
Yeah, it'll drop off as you come down, but it's just generally unpleasant, especially the nearer you get to the ground, because you get the friction effect of buildings and trees and hills and stuff just churns it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember coming in one of the storms, and I think it was 3.5 as we were just capturing the ILS. I think it was 76 knots or something. It was 76.
Really?
76?
It was awful, yeah. It was one of the named storms, but
wow. Roy, thank you very much, mate. Gifting 5 memberships to the community. What an absolute legend. Cheers, Roy. Putting us already on today's show to 58 brand new members, guys.
Wow.
It's going to be a crazy show if this continues, folks. Thank you very much. 58 gifted memberships already. And the Singapore is, oh gosh, it's going to be one of them shows. It's just going to be one of them shows. Go on, Santa.
What are we? Whoa, Andy Richards gifted 10 Airliners Live memberships. Thank you very, very much. Carwyn Davies has signed up for 12 months. Thank you very much. You're both on Santa's nice list.
Yes.
No lumps of coal for you.
Thank you so much, guys. Andy gifting 10 68 brand new members. You guys are nuts today.
Not even been live for an hour yet.
Here we go. Shuttle touching down from London Heathrow. Shuttle to Quebec. The call sign. Easy does it. When you're touching down in an Airbus here at Manchester, then, what auto brake setting are you using out of curiosity?
Medium. Because I want to get off here.
Yeah, because now I've been flying the 7.3 a lot in the sim.
Yeah.
And I did your trick of just slightly going over the hump.
Yeah.
Not going into the hump. Just touch it down just after.
Yeah.
And even with auto brake 2,
yeah,
it goes right past here. I'm coming off at the next rapid exit.
What 7.3 is it?
800.
800, yeah.
So it will not, no matter what I do in the 7.3, unless I'm manual braking, I'm not coming off at this rapid exit.
If you try auto brake 3 maybe, or 4's a bit harsh. I mean, we used to use that in really short runways.
Yeah.
I always found the brakes on the 7.3 to be not the best.
Right.
Airbus has got carbon brakes. They're quite efficient. And also the 7.3 tends to come in a bit quicker than the Airbus, 5 to 10 knots faster on final approach.
Yeah.
Because when they put that critical wing on it just doesn't handle very nice. It comes in quite quick. Try flaps 40.
Okay. Yeah, because I've been flaps 30 in it.
Yeah, you'll have to do a bit, be a bit more careful with your flare because there's more drag, but you'll come in a little bit slow. You'll have more drag off the flaps. Auto brake 3, and I reckon you'll make it.
But in a Airbus, obviously, we don't have the IAEs in the sim yet.
Yeah.
We're on CFMs, but auto brake medium, we can dodge the hump and we should be getting off.
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
I flew that yesterday. Actually, where did I come from? I did Munich to Manchester in the sim yesterday, and you're right. I did get off. I did get off here actually, right in front.
Yeah, sometimes you might need to override and just step on the brakes a little bit if you really floated down the runway.
And what sort of? I know it's usually like 60 knot manual brake, isn't it? At that point, is that usually when you're using manual brakes, or can you go a bit higher?
No, I mean the auto brakes will bring you to a stop.
Right.
If you just leave them in, you'll just stop eventually.
So you don't really need to do manual braking unless
you don't need to. No, I mean if I'm coming down the runway and I think I'm going to miss that turn off, then I'll step on the brakes and make sure I get off, because chances are, especially in the summer, you're going to have someone right up your behind, and they don't want you on that runway. They want you off it. And if you miss that turn off, it starts getting a little bit twitchy.
And is there a speed at which you can use those manual brakes then?
Oh, any brake, any speed at all. Yeah, I mean,
right.
If you go into some, short little airfields like the Isle of Man and Jersey, when you do your landing performance, the only way sometimes you can do it is to actually select on the performance app manual brakes, because the theory is that you're stepping on them straight away and stepping on them hard.
Yeah.
But what you do is you always put medium auto brake in, so that it's even if you're a little bit slow on the brakes, you've got some braking kicking in.
Yeah.
And then you just override and step on them quite hard.
There we go. So I know you guys in the YouTube channel who love your IRL aviation can get some questions in for Mark. Mark is an Airbus captain based here at Manchester. But for any of you guys in the Twitch channel, if you've got any questions relating to a bit more specific stuff that will help you out in the simulator, especially in things like the Phoenix, for example. Mark did fly the 7-3 for a time as well. So any questions you got, fire them in the Twitch chat. Even if they're a little bit more technical, guys, we can definitely do our best to get them answered for you. It'd be a really good chance for you guys on Twitch to get involved in this. Hayden gifted a £5 donation as well. Thank you very much, mate. Awesome multicam action with Captain Mark as a mega bonus. A tippity top stream already, and what a bunch of legendary busters from Hayden. Thank you, mate. Here we go. A350 on the roll. Beautiful A350-900. Not blessed to have one of those in Microsoft Flight Simulator yet. I think you guys in X-Plane have got one at the moment. We also had a brand new member, Khalil Ahmad. Thank you very much, mate, for becoming a brand new VIP of the Airliners Live community. Really appreciate that. Thanks very much. And Linda sending in a very generous £10 donation, saying, I'm watching on the way to Panto of Peter Pan in Edinburgh. Nice to see Captain Mark again. I love my King hoodie. Thanks, guys. Hey, Linda, thank you very much for not only the order, but your long-term support to the channel as well. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Another awesome departure coming up, 3:30. Here we go, Bosch. Lovely bit of ribbonage.
Yes.
Look at that.
Wasn't expecting that.
That is nice.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think if Microsoft Flight Simulator got the A350, that would probably be the one of the best-selling wide bodies for sure.
I mean, I'm honestly just looking forward to the 777 at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's not too far away. I think it's already in beta
Yeah.
So we're hoping to get that sort of first part of next year. I think it's kind of like the hope.
I know it's not close, but also the A380 as well from
Yes.
Fly-by-Wire.
Fly-by-wire A380 will be absolutely mega. There's our A380 there. I'm just changing that setting, Andy, that you did.
No worries. Yeah, Fly-by-Wire did a decent job on the A320, but this is actually built from scratch. So, I think that they're witnessing firsthand how long that takes to develop and like a proper study level simulation in flight sim. Whether this will be study level or not, I'm not sure, but I know it'll probably be really good.
I mean, it'll be more than good enough.
Yeah,
I would have thought, considering the quality of their Neo that's already in the sim.
Yeah.
Got a question here. M. Walshman asking what airline I work for. We don't say that one. That's a big secret, but you'll work it out if you're on the channel long enough.
Yeah.
And how long did it take me to become a pilot? It took me a long time because I started when I was 20. And being 20 and stupid, I used to spend a lot of money going out on the beers with my mates instead of concentrating on me flying. So it took me longer than it should have done. But you can do it now if you go away on a complete course, you can do it in a year. Some people do it in stages, do the private license, and then build up from there. We've got a gifty there from $4.99 Super Chat from the legendary Paul Davis himself, who was here last week, saying, say hello to Daddy Christmas from me. Hello, mate. I hope you enjoyed your fish and chips. That looked fantastic, that big battered fish that we were sharing the picture around of. It looked lovely, that. I hope you enjoyed every mouthful of that succulent fish. Charlie's a member now for 12 months, asking, what's my favourite place to land in the winter? Is there a place that stands out with the scenery? Geneva's lovely all time of year, because you're coming over the hills, you can see Mount Blanc in the corner, the Matterhorn and all that. It's stunning. And when it's got a nice bit of snow on the tops, it looks really, really nice. I like the Santa routes, Rovaniemi, Kettler, Ivalo and Cosimo. I used to do those on the 7.5, and I've asked, Charlie's asking the same thing, favourite one to fly to.
Rovaniemi is very popular in the flight sim at the moment. A lot of events on VATSIM flying up to there. Flying Sea Santa, it's called.
Yeah.
So it's like you'll see on VATSIM just a long trail of people all just going up there together, which is quite cool.
Yeah, it's very, very busy. I mean, I wanted to do it this year. I asked to do them because I was going to obviously be dressed as Santa and give the spiel. Even learn, been learning with my daughter some sign language, so I learned how to say, you write Santa and you want what, and so if there's any deaf kids on board, I could go as Santa and talk to them, and had it all planned out. And obviously I'm off work at the moment, so that'll have to be next year. Got a question here from Jamie Conn. What flaps do you land into Manchester with the A320? Some people like flaps full. I use flap free, especially if it's windy like this.
And is that kind of down to pilot preference, or is it an SOP thing, or?
It's your normal landing flap settings, flap full. And Airbus, the FCOM, will say if it's windy, we prefer you to use flap full, but if there's any chance of wind shear, flap free. It gives you a better go-around performance.
Okay.
The airlines like using flap free because you use a bit less fuel and it's a little bit quieter. The engines are powered down a little bit, so it's less environmental noise and it burns less fuel. And if you do a flap free, I can't remember what it saves, but when you times it by 4 flights a day, over 350 aircraft, it equates to quite a lot of fuel saved.
Yeah.
The only problem is a pitch angle. The nose is up at 5 degrees rather than your normal 2.5, and you've got to be careful with the tail. And if
I find even coming in the sim, I was saying it the other day, I don't know why, but I'm quite nose high on approach in the sim, and I don't know whether it's just a slow calculation, because it's flaps full as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's calculating too slow on the approach speed or not, but it always comes in a bit nose up.
Yeah, it should be about 2.5, 3 degrees.
Right.
What you find is on the 319 is that your VLS bar will come up almost to where your bug speed is, because it calculates the speed on the 319 off the angle attack range rather than the FMGC. Now on the 320s, what the weight is put in there, that's what it thinks your weight is. So chances are you are a little bit heavier than you actually think you are in real life.
Right.
So I always add a little bit of speed.
Yeah.
On a Neo, I'll stick
like 5 knots or something.
I'll start at 3
Right.
for a Neo, and 2 or 3 for a CEO. And if it's a bit below, I'll stick a bit more on.
And you're just pitching for that 2.5.
Yeah, I mean you want to be about 2.5 degrees on a flat 4, 5 on a flat flat 3.
There you go.
But if you go up past 7.5 degrees, you may get a pitch call out, and it works on rate of change of pitch. So if you sort of have a bit of sink, you give it a bit of a nudge. You go this pitch. Oh, here we go.
Right. Okay.
Just to warn
Yeah,
you.
I've not had that one. I don't think. I think I'm all right for that one. We had Traz as well on Strange Adventures, becoming a brand new member of the channel. Thank you very much, mate. Welcome back to you. And we had a very generous donation coming in from Carwyn Davies, sending in a 20 New Zealand dollar donation saying, Merry Christmas in advance, Martin, Andy, Matt and Mark. I'm so pleased to be a member for 12 months with the Red Tail badge. Keep up the work, guys. Love being part of your channel. And we also had 1,000 bits, which is the equivalent of about a £10 donation coming in from Circa on Twitch. Thank you very much, mate. And then Twitch, don't forget, guys, they are topping up your bit donations at the moment with an extra 10%. So if you do have any leftover bits that you'd like to send into the channel, we'd really appreciate it. And as I say, we are pushing towards that 150 subs on Twitch. Would be absolutely incredible if we can hit that. But thank you very much for the amazing 1,000 bits coming in on Twitch. And Gillian just saying the keyboard, Martin's keyboard looks like a disco. This flickering here, I'm not seeing. It's down to the refresh rate of the GoPro that we're using. We can probably tweak it to get rid of that, but to be honest, we just wanted to get up and get live today, so we kind of just thought this was a bit of a, I don't know, it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
I think it's that's on 60 and things on 50 frames per second.
Yeah, that'll be it.
It's all good.
Yorkshire Rose has just upgraded her membership to first class. What an incredible upgrade. Thank you so much, Yorkshire Rose. Great to see you as well. And ladies and gents, on YouTube, we are on 70 gifted memberships already. What a crazy, crazy stream so far. Adrian Whitehead also returning for 18 months of membership. Thank you so, so much. Joanna with an interesting question for you, Marky boy. Saying, if you could ask Mark, would you ever consider doing long haul on a 350, for example? I think I've asked you this a couple of times.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice. I'd love to have a go in 350. If I could do Belfast and back once a day on a 350 for the rest of my career, I'd be quite happy. That'd suit me.
Yeah.
But no, I like being home. I don't like the idea of being away. And I can't think of any airlines that would take in direct entry 350 captains. You could go into Virgin or somewhere as a first officer, but then you'd have to wait 14 or 15 years for command, and however long it is now. And
is that how long it is?
It used to be that long. I think it's less now. But I'd like a go in a 350. I'd like to have a go in the sim. But I'm quite happy where I am. Just keep doing my thing for the next 14 years, and then I get to put my feet up. That would be nice.
So how does it work then if you're a captain in a certain airline? Does that make you eligible for captain in any other airline, or is it you've always got to work your way back up?
No, if they take direct entry captains, so Jet 2 at them have recently been taking direct entry captains because they've got this massive Airbus order and they need people to fly them. Emirates used to take direct entry captains. Now they do a what's it called, an accelerated command. So you go in as an FO for about 18 months. And if you keep your nose clean and you don't upset anybody, and you toe the company line, then you'll get your command in 18 months rather than 3 or 4 years, whatever it is. If you BA, I think we're talking about, I don't know if they are doing it, but certain airlines will take direct entry captains. The problem you've got is most airlines have got a big long line of first officers who want to become captains, and they're just waiting for a command course or waiting for a place or whatever. And then suddenly you start getting all these guys coming from other airlines and taking their spaces, and they're bumped down the list.
Yeah.
So it's not really fair on them.
But then not everybody might want to go up to captain, right? Some people might want to stay.
Yeah, I know a guy, he's a fantastic lad. He's a career FO, he's going to retire soon. He's quite happy being the FO. He doesn't want the responsibility or the grief, of being a captain. He's quite happy just sitting there. And some people do that. But I know with our airline, we've got a big list of guys wanting to be captain, and some really good guys have just done their command, but they've been posted down to Gatwick, and they're on the list to come back to Manchester, but who knows how long that'll take.
Yeah.
It could take a while. Just as a side note, the retro Saudia 78710 is just over Leek in Staffordshire, so it's not that far away, so we'll get a good view of that.
That's roughly where Sam's from, Leek area.
Oh, yeah.
Her parents live in a town near there. It's quite a nice town, Leek.
Yeah, one of our FOs, really, really nice lad. He used to live there, but he said it was too quiet for him. So
it is quite quiet.
Yeah.
And if you want a cooking tip from me, guys, don't put a sausage sandwich that you cooked at home to try and save you spending money in tinfoil, because when you eat it an hour later, it's soggy, guys.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Wounded.
Oh dear.
Absolutely wounded.
Not best. Gillian's asking, have I flown in Innsbruck? I've done it in the 757 in the sim. I've never actually done it for real.
Did you do the circle to land, was it? Is that what it's called?
Oh, I can't remember. It was 20 years ago now.
Right.
I can't remember what I was doing 20 minutes ago. Sharon Locke's asking, what's your favourite runway you've ever landed at? She likes landing in flight sim at JFK. I don't know. I like long runways, really, really long ones. You always used to get a nice landing on runway 21 at Ghana. You always used to be able to grease the 7.5 on there. That was always a good one. Round here, I don't know. I don't know, actually.
Isle of Man?
No. No. Although I've never had a bad landing there. It's just...
I went around there the other day.
Did you?
Mm.
Yeah, it's not a long runway, is it?
No.
And the off-site ILS on 08's ridiculous.
What's going on with that? Because I noticed that when I was flying in the sim the other day, that you it puts you on the ILS, but you're coming in across it.
Yeah,
like
it's offset. It's ridiculous.
But what is the reason for an offset ILS?
You've got a terrain in front of you, so you can't have it lined up with the runway. You haven't got the clearance.
Okay, I didn't notice.
So what you've got to do is you come in
I would have just
offset.
crashed into it.
Well, this is the thing, because it's considered a precision approach. You can have a lower minima. Because the weather in Fraggle Rock's normally fairly unpleasant, you want as low a minimum as possible.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I went in on 08 with this offset, it was blowing 20 odd knots across, and it was low cloud and peeing down with rain. It was absolutely vile. But you can't use the ILS because obviously it's not lined up with the runway. So once you're visual, you've got to take the flight directors off, get the bird on, get the track line lined up with the runway, and then visually fly it round. The glide works, but the localizer's way off. If you had like the VOR approach or an NDB, the minimum would be much higher. With the RNAVs now, they're pretty good. I mean, I think if you go to Leon, the ILS is the minimum is 200 foot above the runway, and the RNAV's 250. So the RNAVs now are getting much better. But yeah, it's just offset because of terrain.
So that's when because there's two runway directions. Is one of them not like out to sea, or is there another one that's?
Yeah.
So 08, you come in over the sea and you make a right-hand turn in.
And that's not the one with the offset.
That is the one with the offset.
So if it's over the sea, what terrain are you going to hit?
It sticks out a little bit.
Yeah.
The island.
You've got a bit of island there.
Yeah,
I've just pulled the chart up. Yeah, you see where it's grey. There's stuff there that you know, and also you've got this out jut of land here with the Isle of Man VOR on the end of it. So you'd come in straight over that. So yeah, there's.
So with the offset ILS, do you follow it the whole way in, or do you vector yourself off it?
No, I mean you'd get vectored onto the ILS and you'd fly down until you're visual, and then when you're visual, you take it out and then line yourself up with the runway, and like I said, flight directors off, burn on, because otherwise you'll start getting loop lights, loop call outs, because you're gonna. Yeah. And also the threshold's displaced as well by nearly 300 metres. On a short runway, you only end up with about 1589 to land on. So it's not a long runway. So yeah, it's just not fun. If you come in on the ILS and 2.6, that is aligned with the runway. And again, it's got a displacement, but you've got just over 1600 metres to land. It's still not a lot for a plane that size. It's taxiing off now.
Yeah, I think today's stream is just going to be me asking, hey, got some waves up front as well, asking Captain Mark all the questions of the things that I've been doing wrong in the sim for the last couple of weeks, because I've really got back into my flying the last couple of weeks. Really enjoying it. Liam Fletcher thank you very much, mate. Sending in a $9.99 donation on YouTube, saying, I wanted to wish you all, Martin, Andy, Mark, Matt, a Merry Christmas. Thank you for providing the best aviation content this year. So glad to be a member of this amazing channel from Liam. Thank you very much, mate. That's awesome.
Got a good question. Flying Architect. Isn't the man VOR NDB 2-3 right offset? I think they've got rid of the NDB now, but the VOR is, yeah. Because the VOR, if Andy can see actually, it's in between the runways. It's over on the far side of the airport.
The start of 2-3 or?
Yeah, at the start of 2-3, near the windsock, you can see there's the orange. Well, get it off this wibbly easy chair.
Yeah, we'll have a zoom in after this.
Yeah, you'll see it as it goes past it.
I want to see this. It's definitely a bit of what would you call mechanical turbulence there that the EasyJet just got hit by.
Yeah, definitely. And there's the VOR just going behind it now. Those orange things there. So it's offset because where the position of the VOR is. If you go somewhere like Alicante, it's at the end of the runway, so it's lined up with it. So you haven't got a problem. But with here, because it's not actually lined up with any runway, you get this offset.
Huh.
So it's in between 2-3 left and 2-3 right. Now, about 5 years ago, when I first came to Manchester, I came in on a summer's night and they were using 2-3 left, and it was the VOR. They wouldn't let us do the RNAV because they seemed to think we needed bigger spacing, and we then sorted it out and we didn't. But you come in the VOR and it was on 2-3 left. The minima was, well, it's 470 feet above the airport. Now, the cloud base was about 500 feet. So we're coming down and we couldn't see the runway, and then suddenly we saw it. Well, we came out the cloud and I looked, and you come in on a tracker 231, it actually lines you up with 2-3 right, even though you land on 2-3 left. And we came out the cloud and I'm looking, I'm like, well hang on, that, you know, there's loads of work here on the runway. Where's the runway? And looked over to the left and there's 2-3 left, and I'm like, here we go. So I took the autopilot out, and you have to quickly like bank the plane over to line it up with the correct runway. I said to me mate, I think we're going round here, son. Anyway, thank God we got in. And then we were taxiing back in. We saw another 2E73 come in, and he did exactly the same thing. You could see, you know, sort of come out of the cloud, the look on his face was, whoa, and then bank it round. Oh, there's the 330 going off. So yes, he had to get on, you know, fairly sharp, and then they reopened 2-3 right and got the ILS on because the cloud base was dropping so much.
Yeah.
You just couldn't do it. But yeah, if the VOR is in line with the runway, generally, you know, the approach will be in line with the runway. If you look at the VOR on 2.5 at Belfast, it's massively offset because the VOR is actually up on the. If you go up 2.5, the far end where the cross runway is, it's actually over to the right between all the runways, so it's not lined up with any of them. And you've got a real big offset there. So again, once you know, the idea of a VOR and NDB approach is a cloud break procedure. Gets you out of the cloud, your visual of the runway now becomes a visual procedure, land the plane. Whereas an ILS is a precision approach that can be used for autolands.
There you go. We had a couple of questions coming in from Twitch as well. First one from Velucious, sorry. Hi guys, love your streams. What are the requirements regarding eyesight for pilots now? Is it A1 vision with no glasses, is that correct?
No, I know loads of guys who've got glasses. I think I might need them soon. I've held off this far. The eyes are the only bit of me that still works properly. But no, you don't. There are requirements. I don't know what they are. You need to go on the Civil Aviation Authority website and have a look.
Yeah.
And then go and see an optician to make sure that you meet the requirements on that one. And Velocity Sports is asking, how do you manage to calculate payload we're flying? Well, you can use standard weights. They use a standard weight of a bag, you know, say on a domestic flight they might use 13 kilos, for a European flight they might use 15, some use 17, for, you know, for the Africa flights we use 23 or 25. So they use the average weights, and they use average weights for people. Women, you know, They use a lower weight, 93 for men, 87, 73 for women.
Does the average weight of people go up based on how many Gregs are in the town that they're flying for?
Well, there is that, isn't there? Yeah, I mean, sometimes they will weigh all the bags as well. All the bags, they use the actual weight. So when they're checked in, it's obviously weighed. It goes on the computer system. They know how much the bags weigh. What has happened once, one of the DHL guys called us up, because the DHL guys at Manchester are absolutely first class. They really, really are first class. And
You've got a lot of positive things to say about them, haven't you?
Oh, I think very highly of them. But this lad, he came up the flight deck and he said, we've got a problem. He said, we've got 2 bags here. They're tagged at 13 kilos as an actual weighed weight. He said, but they're not. He said, I reckon they're more like 30 kilos.
Wow. That's a lot.
He said what people sometimes do is they stick their foot under the scales to take the weight off so they don't have to pay the extra bag charge.
Yeah.
Right. And that's actually like...
I've seen people doing that on, like, TikTok stupid short videos and stuff, and everyone's like, that's amazing. It's like, well, actually, mate, it's actually quite dangerous what you're doing there.
It's not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dispatcher will come on with a load sheet, and they'll have the weight of the bags, the weight of the people, how many people there are. So say there's 89 blokes, 79 women, 50 kids, and 3 infants. So they'll use average weights for those, and then they'll have actual weights for the bags, and it'll say on the load sheet whether they're actual weights or appropriate weights used. And you work it out on your little iPad, work out your weight and balance, where all the bags are, where all the people are, and you come up with a number, how much the plane weighs, where the trim, where the weight and balance is, and then you can put that into the takeoff app and work it out from there. I
remember when I flew out of Gibraltar and they had to go through and check everybody was in the right seat. Yeah, with like this big, like sheet of paper, because I think the weight or balance was out or something, and they think the plane had like too many people on or too little or something like that. I think it's because it was quite lightly loaded, maybe. I can't remember exactly why. Is that something that you'd ever have to do?
Yeah, it came to a head in COVID. They had a few instances where there weren't many people on.
Yeah.
And the plane was out of balance.
Yeah.
And I can't remember why. We brought in new procedures because of it.
How do you know it's out of balance? Like, is there...
on your app, when you do your loading sheet, it shows on a graph that you're out of balance.
You wouldn't think it has a massive impact on such a big piece of machinery with such powerful engines, but it's massively important. Isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, out of balance aircraft have crashed before.
Yeah.
It really is a big deal. And the app will tell you if you're in, but I can't remember the actual backstory because obviously it was a few years ago now, but there was a change of procedures and we have to do, head counts, and they have to tell us who's in the front, how many's in the front, how many's in the backs. And it's got to be absolutely right. And we've got a new bag policy as well. And a friend of mine phoned me up the other day and she said, well, it's supposed to have, 85 bags in the front, but it put me too far C or G. I said, well, just shift a load of bags to the back. And she said, well, that's against the baggage policy. I said, well, just, doesn't matter. Get them shifted. That's the only way of doing it.
Is that why they block out rows sometimes as well on a plane? Because I was flying a BA shuttle once, and I was on a row, and I was sat next to someone, and behind me was an empty row. Right. So I asked the cabin crew, and I was like, can I just sit there? Instead, he's like, no, you can't sit there. It's blocked out.
We normally block seats out because the seats are broken or...
Oh, right, maybe that was it as well.
Yeah.
Something like that.
If you're working with reduced crew as well, because you need one cabin crew per 50 people. So if you've got cabin crew sickness or something and you're trying to get back, and the cabin crew's off in the hospital or passenger in back because they're not well enough to operate, then you can only carry 150 people, so you need to block a few rows off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Jamie's asking on Twitch, have you been flying to the Isle of Man? Yes, I have done, not for a while, thank God. Yeah.
What is it about the Isle of Man that you're not particularly fond of then?
The weather and the runway.
Right.
Yeah, it's just such a short runway. Same with Jersey, they're just so short runways. And
Jersey's. I'm a big fan of Jersey. I'm a big Jersey fan. It was one of the main back in the day when we used to fly for an airline, a VA called Go Air UK. It was called, and they were based in Birmingham. And every night it's like, oh, where are you flying? It's like, oh, we'll do Birmingham to Jersey. Yeah. Go on then, boys. And like all of us go Birmingham to Jersey. Yeah. It's like, oh, what are we doing tonight? Oh, we'll do Jersey to Birmingham. Just like every night it was just that, and we were buzzing off it. We used to just go there all the time. Dash 8 most of the time.
Oh yeah, see with Dash 8s and turboprops, they can. Those runways are fine. They don't need as much runway to start. But when you've got 60-odd ton Airbus going 150 mile an hour.
Yeah.
And you've got 1,600 metres to stop it in. It's it can be brown trousers time, especially
I don't know
if it's windy.
for you if it's the same as it is for someone like me in the sim, but I much prefer the approach that goes over the island rather than one that comes from the sea, because the runway is so close to the edge.
Yeah.
It feels really weird when you're coming into land.
Yeah, it doesn't look right. There's certain airports where you come in on the runway, it just doesn't look right. 06 left at Palma for some reason doesn't look right. But there's certain, it just doesn't look right. I don't mind it. I remember going into Jersey once on 08 over the water, and it was really windy. It was straight across the runway. It was just horrible. But on the Airbus, you can use the autopilot down 160 feet. Now, because it's up on a hill, 160 feet actually translates to about 15 feet in real life by the runway.
Yeah.
So I just left the autopilot in until 160 feet, took it out, and then just kicked the drift off and landed it. It was nice and easy. The thing is, if you get it wrong on 08 and you go off the end of the runway, you end up in a field. If you get it wrong on the other one and you go off the end, then you end up on the beach.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit like, what was that one, St. Bart's or something in
Don't talk about St. Bart's.
What, that twin, the twin that went off the end?
Yeah.
Now, there's a guy I used to fly with, first officer. He's gone to Leon now. I reckon he was the best first officer here. He's flown that aircraft. Yeah, our proper airliner.
Nice to see Iceland Air operating the 7.5 today.
It's great, isn't it? I don't think the 321 XLRs are being delivered yet, but that'll be like the next generation of Iceland Air planes.
We did have a bit more support coming in as well. Jamie Foy returning for 13 months of membership. Thank you very much, Jamie. Saying hi, boys. Watching in the van at work with Nick. Keep warm from Jamie and Nick. Thank you very much, boys, for tuning in. Hopefully you get the... when we used to be in the van, we used to fight over who was driving because the other guy used to have a quick kip. Me and Camille in the van every week. It was good fun. Practically Geek as well, returning for 9 months of membership. Looks like we hit 1 year around my birthday in 2024. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all the Airliners Live team. Thank you very much, mate. And Jakey Boy as well, returning for 35 months of membership, saying nearly a Wookiee but 100% Grinch. Bar humbug from Jake in the chat. Thank you very much, dude. And here we go. Probably the best looking I've seen your Mega Bong Bell juice. If you really don't mind, I'm going to let the chat enjoy this one, and then we will bring your amazing support onto the show. This is a beautiful livery. Have you seen this yet, Mark?
Yeah, no, I don't think I have. I'm only on the show.
Here we go. Look at this. Got some 10 out of 10s in the chat for this one.
Red Sea special sticker on the back there as well.
And there it is, the beautiful new scheme, or the new old scheme from Saudi. They decided to apply it to the full fleet, which I think is probably one of the best decisions we've seen in aviation all year regarding liveries. It's an absolutely stunning livery, and I think it really does suit the Dreamliner as well.
Just came out of nowhere as well, didn't it? Like it was just, we didn't expect it. Nobody asked for it. It was just, hey, here's a retro style livery.
But we're going to get this amazing supporting from Mr. Belljuice with a 10 gifted memberships and Mega Bong on today's stream, putting us to 80 brand new members. Thank you very much, Belljuice. Hope you're doing well, mate. Whatever you're getting up to this year, thank you for your amazing support on the show this year. It's been a pleasure to catch you at all our events as well. And thanks for your long-term viewership as well. We really appreciate that. Dropping 10 gifted memberships in the YouTube chat. It's going to be another 100 gifted member day. We can see it happening, guys. Thank you so much to everybody supporting the stream today.
On a midweek as well.
Incredible. Incredible. If you are watching on Twitch, feel free to get involved in the chat as well. We are watching the chat both YouTube and Twitch. We have an Airbus captain with us today, so if you've got any questions you want asking, or you want answering rather, from anything you're struggling with in the sim, get a message in the chat. And Mr. Captain Mark, who's currently dressed up as Santa,
as you do,
will be happy to answer those questions for you as well.
I remember years ago at Heathrow seeing that Saudi livery in the on the TriStars, and I can't remember what else they used to bring. I mean, I'm going back donkey's years now, but yeah, it was a regular visitor, definitely on the TriStars.
Such a nice livery, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, more of them, please.
Hey, Greg. Great to see you, mate. Thanks for tuning in on my flight sim flight the other day as well. I've been doing a little bit of flight simming on the Twitch channel, guys, just here and there, just for a bit of fun. So do keep an eye on the Twitch channel.
Yeah, it's gorgeous playing this. I love the tail. Like, the colours they've used for the tail and the engines, so nice.
You've got an easy about landing very soon. Let me just have a look and see. Yeah, not this one. I don't know what this is that's landing. Let's have a look. Oh, it's an Austrian. There's an EasyJet coming in from Luton, so it's empty.
All right.
So they're going to, I mean, the windsock's lying flaccid at the moment, but if the wind picks up on an empty 320 with sharklets, that could be an interesting landing.
Yes.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Beautiful Saudi retro. What do we think of that, chat? I think that's a stunner. That's a model winner, that.
Right.
I said I wasn't going to buy any more models.
It suits the Dreamliner as well.
It really does.
I feel like maybe a 777 might look good with this livery.
Top of that.
Yeah, that tail though. It's not popping as much today, just because how dreary it is, but...
Love
And
it.
you've got the Qatar 350 1000 just coming on the finals as well.
Love it. Jenny gifting an Airliners Live membership. Hope you're well, Jenny. Thank you so much for your long-term support of the channel as well.
Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate it. OG. Yeah, there's that Austrian A320. Did you say the EasyJet was next to land?
There's an EasyJet coming in behind, yeah, that's positioning.
Interesting. I was doing a bit of research about... Because I did a video the other day about what's it like to fly out of the UK's best rated airport, and it was Liverpool Airport.
Oh, Liverpool, yeah.
It's quite a short video because there wasn't really much to talk about. Like, it was just a good airport. It's simple, it's quick. Not really much to talk about.
Yeah, it's a bit of a faff on for crew. Because if you haven't got Liverpool ID, it gets quite difficult. You've got to be escorted through places, and it can be hard work if you're crew.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the passengers, they seem to love it.
Yeah. But then I went, what is the worst rated airport in the UK? What could that be?
Manchester, isn't it?
Yes, it depends how you look at it, but it's always the same two airports that crop up. It's either Manchester, again depends what platform you're looking at, or Luton is the other one that keeps cropping up. Yeah. So I've flown out of Manchester many times. We kind of already know what the deal is, so I feel like maybe another vlog for the future would be Luton Airport.
Here's that empty EasyJet just coming into view now. We'll keep an eye on this then.
Yeah, let's get a zoom in.
See, it's shifting around a little bit.
Seems windier over there than it is over here.
Yeah, it seems to have died off a little bit at the moment.
It's very, very variable, isn't it?
Yeah. He's having a good wibble there, isn't he?
Oh yeah, you can really see it.
Yeah.
You can really see the difference, can't you?
So that last 100, 200 feet, is that still autopilot, or is that then
It's got to be out by 160 at the latest.
Okay.
With you know, like I said before on the streams, with the Boeings, you know, you used to want to take the autopilot out early and get the feel of what the wind's doing. Autopilot off, auto thrust off, because it's you know, it's manual thrust on the 75 and 73s. So you'd want to get a feel of what the wind's doing, get into sync with it all. But with the Airbus, because you're just arguing with a load of petulant French computers,
Yeah.
I always like to leave the autopilot in.
But you see these wobbling, you know, and sometimes quite high as well, go a couple of 100 feet. Let's still do that with the autopilot on?
Oh, yeah. Because if you get a wing, you know, you get a gust or a lull or whatever, and you get a wing drop,
Yep.
the autopilot will sort it out. It'll pick the wing up and put it back to where you want, because it's not like a conventional aircraft where you set your controls, trim it all out, and you know, it's just naturally stable. With the Airbus, you're setting pitch and roll settings, so you're telling the computer, right, I want to be 2.5 degrees nose up, wings level. If you hit a gust and the wing drops a little bit, the computer goes, oh, he didn't want that. That's not what we asked for. He wanted to be different. So it'll write the aircraft and sort it out for you, but it takes a little bit of time. And then you'll have to put an input in to get yourself back, you know, because now you've drifted off the centre line, and you know, you end up, you can see it sometimes when they come in, where the pilot's got out of sync with what the autopilot thing, or what the flight computer think you want.
Yeah.
So you end up fighting it. You end up with these oscillations. Oh, he's flashing the wing lights.
Flashing the lights at you. He also had a Christmas jumper on there.
Did
as
he?
well.
Excellent.
I see that, yeah.
What a legend.
I was wondering what was going on.
10 out of 10s for the EasyJet crew.
It's like the old Tony Hawk's games, you know, when you're trying to balance on the bar.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
And Barry with some awesome news in the chat that Linda is now back home, ladies and gents. I've got some 10 out of 10s in the chat for Linda.
Oh.
Bit tired, so she's going to go back to bed, but yeah, back at home where she
Mate.
belongs. Fantastic.
Good timing, eh? Christmas and all that. New
That's
Year's.
it. Wonder what Barry Bidwell's having for Christmas dinner, because I guarantee it's not just going to be a plain old turkey.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Great news, that, Barry.
There's only one Barry Bidwell.
There is.
Is there only one Yorkshire pud on his plate, though?
Definitely not. Not unless it's a giant one.
Wipers on the Norwegian 737.
And Cameron on Twitch is asking if you ever wanted to do any freighter operations.
Yeah, with some of the passengers when they start kicking off, it's it's
Because is that not like, is it not a much easier life as a freighter pilot? Because you've got none of the passenger-related delays. You're not having to deal with passengers. It's just you get up and go. Is it a bit more relaxed, like in that sense? Or?
I don't know. I mean, I've got a couple of mates who do it. They don't do, you know, they don't work anything near as hard as you do at, you know, doing the passenger stuff during the summer. They do 500-600 hours a year. But the problem is, there's a lot of it is nighttime flying, and you know, they do these trips around Europe. Or one of the lads recently, he was flying a 747 cargo at Heathrow, and he was going all over the shop. He was out to China and Kazakhstan and all sorts of weird, wacky places. And he was away a lot, so he didn't really like that. Yeah, I mean, again, I did think about it, but again, you can't get direct entry commands there, which was a bit disappointing.
Because you'd get, some would say, a nicer selection of aircraft to choose from, although they
like
may be
7.5s, yeah.
maybe a bit older, 7.5s, 7.4s,
Yeah.
777.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's a pretty nice triple set there.
Yeah.
I mean, what else?
7.6s.
7.6, yeah.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine, her husband's just gone, he's been at Eastern Airways for years, he's gone to DHL on the triple. But I mean, that mate of mine, he used to fly the 7.8 for Norwegian, and he got this cargo job, and he didn't like the 7.4. Didn't like it at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just wasn't taken with it. He liked all the all the bits on the
Dreamliner.
On the Dreamliner,
Yeah.
all the fancy kit on there, because it's fully loaded. And he did say he found the 7.4 quite heavy in pitch.
Right.
I guess he was flying the old gen of the 747.
400.
The 400, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have the 8s, don't they? And I think some are freighters. I think UPS have some, is it?
Yeah, there's quite a few. The last one ever made was a freighter. It came over here the other day.
Yeah.
I think the only passenger ones are Lufthansa and Korean now on the 747-800. There's a Marnie corporate one, that we've seen in here before.
Yeah, the
You've got-
Amiri
yeah,
flight.
you've got- yeah.
Oh, that's gorgeous, that one.
That's a nice jet.
What's this? This looks big.
Yes. What
Qatar
is
looks
that?
like. Is it?
It must be, yeah.
Oh, this be the Qatar 1000, wouldn't it?
Nice. Looks very smooth on the approach here.
I'll talk you through it, Greg. Don't worry, mate. I'll talk you through it in a second, dude. Another beautiful aircraft arriving at Manchester. And Mike Freeman, thanks for the $1.99 donation, mate. Really appreciate that. We'll get to your question in a second as well. So long, this A350 doesn't even fit into the frame.
You don't realise how long they are, do you, until you see it like that?
Mike's saying, question for Mark, easy landing or a crosswind? Which
Easy
would you prefer?
Easy landing any day of the week. Your heart's only got so many beats in it, I don't want to waste them battling winds.
The first few sort of crosswind landings is a bit like, hey, right, let's get stuck in, and then does it kind of get a bit boring after that? Or
Well, when you learn to fly as a PPL, they teach you there's two techniques: there's wing down and the crab method. And then when you go on to something bigger, you know, the basic technique remains the same. Come into the flare, kick it straight with the rudder, put a bit of wing down, you know, hold it off, get the wheel down, you know, keep the ailerons in the wind if it's a Boeing or anything that's not an Airbus. But yeah, where it becomes a little bit more difficult is when you become a captain, because now you've swapped seats. So you're not wide right. So what your right hand should be doing flying the aircraft is now your left hand. And instead of having your left hand on the thrust lever, now you get your right hand on the thrust lever. So you're not...
It's the muscle memory's changed.
Completely different. And the picture out the window's different. If you look at the 350 and the 380 glare shield, the dash in front of them, they're flat. But on a 320, they're angled. So on a FO, you're looking out like that, like a V shape. And then when you look on a captain, you're now looking at that. So the whole picture's completely wrong. So depends on how long you've been a first officer. If you've been a first officer a long time, it can be quite a transition. They tell you on the command course, you know, the aircraft's got, you know, 38 knot crosswind, but your personal one is completely different. So as a new captain, you know, you wouldn't attempt a 38 knot crosswind landing. You need to get used to flying the aircraft from the wrong seat. Once you're comfortable, then you can up your crosswind limit.
Yeah. Beautiful Qatar. That noise was a Ryanair. I literally just switched over to the radar to see if it had gone around. It was that loud, but it didn't. It did just depart. No information on the radar where it's going to, but it would really give it the beans out of Manchester then.
What was that storm we were watching on radar? I remember in that Discord call the other, last week,
right. Yeah,
where there was that one Boeing airliner that was coming into Manchester in a hold for ages. Had an attempt twice, I think. Went to Newcastle.
Oh, the Ryanair one.
Yeah.
The Ryanair one,
Yeah, I was tracking that one.
Yeah, came back to Manchester and then did it go back to Newcastle again or something? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It came in.
It came in eventually.
Yeah.
It flew back in, didn't it?
Yeah, it came down from Newcastle, went around again, went up to the north over Bolton Way, sat there and circled for a bit longer, and then came back in again. And I think he got in on his fourth attempt eventually.
And let's get some 10 out of 10s in the chat for Ken as well, who's back home finally after rehabilitation hospital after having a stroke. He's now back home. So congratulations, Ken, on getting back home, mate. Absolutely awesome job. I'm sure it was hard work, mate, but it's great that you're back home, and thank you very much for spending your time with us here on Airliners Live as well. We also had a bit of support coming in, so let me spend a couple of seconds just catching up with that as we say goodbye to probably one of the best looking jets we've seen on today's show. Holly gifting 5 Airliners Live memberships to the community, putting us to 86 brand new memberships on today's stream. Thank you so much, Holly, for that. Tom returning for 11 months of membership, saying, just landed in Amsterdam from Manchester 1 month to go, says Tom. Thank you very much, mate, on the 11 months. And with a very generous £10 donation, Beastie Lucy fan saying, Merry Christmas to all of you at Airliners Live. Thanks for a cracking 2023. You've helped me get through through a tough year. Great community and awesome content. All the best for 2024. I was thinking the same, Beastie. Especially the beginning of this year was probably one of my toughest years I've had in a long time, and the channel has helped me immensely as well. So here is to a absolutely awesome fresh start in 2024. We're going to come out kicking, we're going to smash the mill, and we're going to keep growing with the awesome community we built up here on the channel as well. And of course we're going to keep championing all mental health on the channel as well into 2024. I'm sure there'll be more ways we can do that this year as well, but thank you very much for spending your time with us, and although we understand at times it is very hard, congratulations for absolutely smashing it this year as well, Beastie Lucy fan.
Yeah, thank you for the support, as always.
And we also had Jamie saying, what's the hardest airport you've had to land at, to Captain Mark?
I don't know actually. Isle of Man and Jersey can always be tricky. Arrecife can be tricky if it's windy, if you're coming in over the hills. Yeah, I mean, you get ones which are straightforward. Belfast, unless it's windy, is normally fairly straightforward. Geneva, they tend to cut you in, so you end up higher. That's why Fezzer calls the speed brake the Geneva lever.
Is there any airports that are tricky because of ATC, in that, like, maybe they could be really busy and it's kind of hard to get a word
Barcelona is the one where we have our most amounts of TCAS RAs going off.
Oh, wow.
There's a fantastic video of a Argentinian 340 crossing a runway without permission at Barcelona, sending a 767 round. And yeah, Barcelona can always be a pain. Whenever you hear on the ATIS controller on the job training monitored, be very careful. Malaga, twice ATC steered me towards the hills and forgot about me. Below safety altitude as well, so that can be interesting. The ATC can be quite variable. Some of the Greek islands can be quite tricky. Santorini's captain's only takeoff and landing because it's a narrow runway. Places, I mean, I don't do Mykonos, and what's the other one? Skiathos, I think it is. They're short, narrow runways. Certain ones which have funny, you know, Innsbruck's, you need special training for. This actually comes in. Terry Edwards asked the question: is there a max crosswind level where you can't land, must divert? Yeah. Again, with Madeira, you've got certain wind limits from certain directions for that runway because it's right next to the hills. So if they give you 3 winds, they give you one at Rosario, and I did it in the sim with Fezzer. Rosario's at one end of the runway, then you get the runway wind, then you get one at the other end of the runway, and they've got to be within certain limits, otherwise you can't even make the approach, and it can still be rough as a badger's backside. But with the wind limits, again, the other thing you've got to take into consideration is your runway surface conditions. And, you know, Martin can see this, so you guys I can't show, but we've got a chart with the crosswind limit and what you've got. So on a 320, if the runway's dry, you've got 38 knots. If it's damp, wet, even dry snow and the wet snow up to 3 mil, you've still got 38 knots. Compacted snow goes down to 29. Dry snow, wet snow, slippery, wet, 25. Standing water and slush, 20 knots. And if it's ice, cold and dry, your crosswind limit's 15 knots.
Wow.
Because the braking is so poor and the controllability of the aircraft is so poor, then Airbus have said, no, actually, that's a really silly idea. And what they're really saying is, just go somewhere better.
just have another go somewhere else. But thank you for all getting involved in the chat as well. I see loads and loads of messages coming through. There's so many people tuning in today. Thank you very much, guys.
Mike was asking, is Corfu captain's takeoff and landing? Only on the southerly runways, captain's only landing, because you have to do, well, you used to have to do a circle land. I did it again in the sim with Fezzer on the complex approaches one. Did it to demonstrate. I mean, the last time I did it for real, it was blowing 28, 30 knots, and it was low cloud base, and there were thunderstorms everywhere. It was absolutely horrendous. Now they've brought an RNAV in from the north, so you can come in and get in on the southerly runway. If you're coming in on doing the RNAV on the 3-4, the FOs can land that quite happily, and its FOs, you know, can do the takeoff as well. But certain airports, like I said, Scathos, it's captains only. Isle of Man, it's captains only landings. It used to be captains only takeoff as well. Jersey's captains only landing, but the FOs can do the takeoff. And Netcus is asking, what happens to planes when they retire? Some are referred to freighters, yep. And there's more passenger planes than need for freighters. Yes, they are. So what they do is they go to the scrapyard and they rob all the useful bits off them. I mean, EasyJet, years ago when they had the 737s, they were scrapping 737-700s at 7 or 8 years old because they were worth more in parts and spares.
Yeah.
So all the good stuff like the engines, the avionics, and the landing gear, and the, you know, anything usable is robbed, and the rest of it is turned into, you know, you go on these reclaimer sites and get these really cool baggage tags, or you know, tags that are cut out of bits of metal from the aircraft, and the rest goes into razor blades.
It's like the Thai A330 that's here at Manchester still. I don't think that's owned by Thai anymore. It's owned by the leasing company, and they had a buyer for it. That's why it was here for so long, and that has now fallen through.
Yeah, I heard that.
So apparently that plane's most likely just going to get chopped up, which is a shame because it's a really nice plane and a nice livery.
Yeah, they chopped the old Monarch 330s up there, but they were really, really old.
Yeah, and the Thomas Cook ones as well, if you remember that, when they chopped the wings.
Maybe it was the Tommy Cook ones I'm thinking of.
Yeah. That was a real sad time.
Yeah, staying in the terminal every day watching these things be turned into razor blades wasn't much fun.
Yeah.
But, Mike saying there was a missed question earlier on from someone asking, how do airlines help anxious passengers? Is that down to the airlines? Are they...
Well, some airlines, EasyJet's one, I think Jet2 does it, they do fear flying courses. So if you've got, you know, if you're really, really, really scared, then you can do a 2-day course where you'll spend a day in the classroom with pilots who will explain noises and talk about the safety side of it. Then the next day you'll go for a little flight with pilots and, you know, normal cabin crew on board, but you'll have pilots on board as well to explain everything just to get you over it. The best way of doing it is go onto Airliners Live and have a look at the million viewed video.
The only view on Airliners Live, the only video rather, with 1 million views.
Yeah.
This guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's me telling you why you shouldn't be scared of flying.
Go and give it a watch.
Debunks 8 fears of flying.
And we got another one that we're going to be filming
We've got another
soon.
one, yes.
There's going to be 8 more fears of flying coming, which I think we're going to film after Christmas at some point.
Yeah. I'm actually curious, does anyone in the chat have a fear of flying? And if you do, what is it specifically that you're worried about? Because I'm always curious about this, because Mark, you did talk about 8 different ones in that video.
Yeah.
And they were very, very common ones. I assume you're frequently meeting passengers and stuff who are a bit anxious.
Yeah, I mean, we had it in Storm Agnes a little while ago. Because I noticed there's a question here from Fabster, what's the worst weather you landed? Storm Dennis a couple of years ago was the worst. It actually hurt me back. We hit a gust and it actually put me back out. And then I was back in a few days later for Storm Eunice. But Dennis was, Dudley I think it was, he was the worst. Yeah. Agnes was pretty bad. And we went to Santorini, so it was my takeoff here, my landing in Santorini, my takeoff out of Santorini, and it was going to be my landing here because the wind was horrendous. But we ended up, because they put us on a lightweight aircraft, we couldn't get the fuel on. So we had to stop in Venice for fuel, so the FO got to do a bit of flying at least. He's a smashing lad called Bradley. And we had this girl on board who was in tears. She was that frightened. So we got her in the flight deck on the turnaround while we were waiting, showed her up the front, calmed her down, told her about the fear of flying video, give her some sweets, and she got, you know, she got off the plane at the end of the day laughing, so that was good. But we were trying to get back to you guys because you guys were streaming, you guys could see us land. And because of the stop off in Venice, you missed us. Yeah. But Mac Aviation was filming us, and you guys all did a bomb on the stream, and everyone was there watching. And there was a Eurowings came in before us. He'd gone round, and we're coming in off of Dane down to the south. He's coming in for a second to go. We're following him. He went around again and went off to Dusseldorf. He said, "I'm had enough. I'm going home." And thank God we got in, and Mac was filming it. But yeah, it's if you're scared, let the crew know. And if you want to go up the front this time, then you might be able to go up the front, have a chat with the pilots, and just
Yeah.
There's nothing to be scared of. The most dangerous part of your day is driving to the airport.
That's it.
Sam is asking, why do some airports have a train warning, some don't? Always get that on the sim and keep wondering.
I think that's more of your aircraft position in the world rather than an airport specific.
Yeah, I mean, all the aircraft have got GPWS, which works off a DoD database. And as you're coming into land, if you're on the right path, or you're on the arrival and the ILS or the RNAV or whatever it is, you shouldn't be getting terrain warnings.
Yeah, chances are you're either coming in too low into those airports. Maybe the flight computer's not set up correctly, so it's not got the correct out restrictions into there. Because as you fly into certain airports, there are altitude restrictions you've got to meet on the approaches. So yeah, maybe it's something to do with that, but I don't think that's an airport specific issue, that one.
There are some that you get these notices about the airport. There are some where you can get funny terrain warnings at certain points, and you're told about that to make sure that you follow the path correctly, but I can't remember where they are.
Laurie saying, my only fear is not having the opportunity to fly. That is a real fear.
Oh, Daniel's asking, what happens if the landing gears fail to come out even after going round? You've got a backup gear release. And on the Airbus, it's a gravity gear release. It's on the back of the centre console. It's a big handle. You lift the handle up, and you turn it 3 times, and it actually physically unlocks the gear. It's held up with these up locks, and they're pulled out by this handle, and the gear then drops down with gravity, and it'll lock into place.
I assume that works literally almost every time.
Yeah. I mean, unless there's something daft like a cable holding it up, like you had with that Virgin 340 years ago, where no matter what you did, it was never going to. One of the gears was never going to come down. I mean, we looked at it when I did the first flight sim show with Fezzer, where he very kindly failed 2 of me 3 hydraulics by accident. We were supposed to fail one, talk about it, fail the second one, talk about the implications of it, and then he was going to restore it, but instead of actually failing the pump, he drained the whole system. So whenever you're down to one hydraulic system, you always gravity drop the gear, because you've got to think the hydraulic system's running at 3,000 psi. That gear weighs tons, and you don't want to strain your last hydraulic system because the plane won't fly without it. So yeah, you gravity drop the gear every time. The only problem is you can't get it back up again.
But that is like a dual hydraulic failure is so beyond rare.
Yeah. I mean, the 7.5 had an electrical switch, a solenoid, and a few years ago, on one of their 7.6s, they couldn't get the gear down, and they had to do a belly landing because the gravity gear wouldn't work. Now the problem was, behind the FO there's a circuit breaker for this gravity gear release, and it had been pulled.
Oh, right.
And if they'd have just looked back and gone, oh, hang on, pop that breaker back in, the wheels would have come down.
That's the thing, and this is the thing with a lot of. We did a video recently that looked at some major aircraft crashes and what's been learned from them. And the sad thing is, a lot of it is down to human error, isn't it?
Yeah.
BRB's running the loop real quick.
Okay.
And that's why also a lot of the airlines now, EasyJet's one who's really pioneering it. They do this line-orientated evaluation. So they look at what's trending in the world.
Yeah.
What's killing people, and they train us not to do it. And everyone thinks, oh, engine failure on takeoff's the biggie. You do that in your exams every year, but it's not the big killer. The big killer is losing control of a perfectly controllable airliner.
Yeah.
So we've got Air France 447, perfectly flyable aircraft, and they stoved it into the ocean. Air Asia, they had a perfectly serviceable aircraft that had an annoying little fault, and they ended up ploughing that into the sea. It's lost of control, where there's no reason for it. But they train us now how to not do it. And, certain airlines really are pushing this. Yeah, it's just all down to the training.
It is. as we can see as well, the A380 is on stand. It is hoping to go out on time today. We will be wrapping the show about 1:30 today if the A380 can get out before then, we hope. As you saw on the wide camera, Andy just quickly nipping to the loot. I'm just going to... he's left the door open. He does live in a barn, guys, by the looks of it. It's freezing in here, one sec.
Johanna's saying that she used to be very nervous of flying, and I met her at the TAS fair, and she watched the video, and we had a long chat, and she's a lot happier now. So never know, she might be on one of my flights soon.
Amazing. And now's the time to get your questions in, guys, while we just wait for Andy. If you've got any questions, please get them in the chat. Thanks to everyone for supporting the stream today. We've had 87 gifted memberships on the YouTube channel. If you are watching on Twitch, check those Twitch Primes, guys, and if you can help us hit the 150 subs, we'd really appreciate your support on the Twitch channel. Just go ahead and do the usual on Twitch. And we also had Russell Tinker returning member to the channel. Thank you very much, Russell. Hope you're doing well, dude.
Tom and Anne saying we'd only get worried if we heard, "Hi, my name's John Ferry and I'm your pilot."
Mate, I'm like, get me off this plane. I'm all right.
Now you'd be safe as houses with Fezzer. You really would. He's some boy.
You don't need to boost his ego anymore.
I'll never tell him his face. I'll just mercifully take the mickey out of him all day, every day. But no, I mean that kid he's really something. His knowledge is second to none. And watching him on those flight sims, you think a type rating on an Airbus is 3 months, and 1 week he's in an Airbus, then he's in a 737, then he's in the Antonov, Dream, and go down the back to switch the batteries on. Most people sit there and where the batteries, haven't got a clue. And then he's in a jumbo, then he's in something else. I think
it's good how we can kind of jump in all different planes, and because that's something I proper struggle with in the sim. Is like sometimes just learning a new plane, I just feel like it's just too much. You know what I mean? I just can't take it all in, and then you jump in a plane you've not flown for a while, and you forget. It is difficult. It's difficult. Malky, thank you very much, mate, for gifting an Airliners Live membership, and Mr. Tony P.
The Garage MC.
With a 10 gifted memberships to the channel. Megabong coming in, putting us to 98 gifted memberships on the stream. Thank you very, very much, mate. 98 gifted memberships. Thank you, mate.
Looking at 1 for the 380 at the moment. That's what they're saying.
I think that's what they always say, isn't it?
Like a cheap watch. My little app doesn't work anymore on other than UK Airlines.
Just leave the chat with you for a second, Andy. Yes. Got someone knocking on, mate.
No worries. TUI Dreamliner just departing there. Well timed. Didn't just leg it back. Whoa, hang on. What's going on over there? Yo, look at this. Hang on. Where is it? It's over there. There's a fire. Whoa! That's awesome. Bit of fire crew training. Fire rescue team here at Manchester Airport. Doing a bit of training over at their facility there. Not going to lie, folks, I was bursting for the loo. And dancing for about an hour. And there was just no break in traffic. Oh, you know what? This is my only chance. There was nothing on final approach. And then I got down and I realised there's a TUI Dreamliner still on the runway. And as if by magic, it held long enough for us to catch it. That was awesome. Magic, eh? Ryanair 737-800 just touching down at Manchester Airport. 23 right. The winds are still pretty gusty. It's really weird today. It goes from like super windy to quite chill, back to super windy. Like right now, it's chill. Like, yeah, you can see that windsock there. It looks kind of bad, but it's not. That's pretty standard for Manchester Airport. But when it is super windy, then the whole tower shakes, you know. You can probably see it on the camera. Don't forget, folks, you can see how many stream miles you have. Just by watching the streams, you accumulate automatically what is called stream miles. Well, in order to accumulate them, you've got to remind the chatbot that you're in the chat. And you do that by just interacting in chat. So if you're talking, if you're asking questions, if you're just saying hello and putting emotes in the chat, then you are interacting and you'll earn stream miles. And what we're going to do in the new year is have rewards for stream miles. So I think things like discounts on merch, maybe you can enter into giveaways, and maybe even ultimately some kind of prize that you get when you hit a certain level. It can't be something too big, but what it is ultimately is just a way to give back to you guys and say thank you just for watching, because I know a lot of you are watching week in, week out, and it means a lot to us and it makes a big difference. So it's just a way to give back, on top of, I guess, producing these live shows for you guys. So yeah, there's also a leaderboard as well of the top viewers. I know the moderators have a bit of a, I wouldn't say unfair advantage, but they are here week in, week out, so they're naturally going to be quite high in the listing there. But there are a few VIPs who are pretty high up as well, so shout out to you guys and girls. So yeah, you can do exclamation miles in the chat. I'm not sure if it works on Twitch yet. It might do, but it definitely works on YouTube. I know Joanna, she's in the chat at the moment. She was number 1 for a while. She's now number 2, just behind Loopy, who's number 1. Chester Mike, number 3. Terry Edwards, 4. Carl Crawford, 5. Jones Huntercliffe, Mizam, and Kevin following them. I just keep seeing fire every now and then here. The last time we seen this, it was on what is our left-hand side of the mock-up aircraft there. Turkish Airlines A321. Oh, buttering at the runway there. That was smooth. I know the winds are going to get pretty wild tomorrow at Manchester.
We just had a big, massive gust then, didn't we?
Yes.
It changed direction. It come from behind us all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty wild.
That's not fun.
I know tomorrow is going to get pretty nuts, apparently. So I'm not sure about doing a live show, but I might come down and do some filming. I think that could be pretty entertaining. Maybe a live stream, but if it is a live stream, it won't be very full on, should we say, in terms of like presenting and stuff. Purely be a bonus. We shall see.
What time does it start to pick up?
6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah, literally, it's from 6 a.m. till about 2 p.m. It's going to be wild.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
it's becoming from 3 in the morning and in place by 6. 280, 25 gusting 42 at the moment.
The weird thing is, we see a lot of the gusting this, gusting that at Manchester.
Yes.
And the last 2 times I've come down, it's just been a non-event.
Yeah.
Just
That's
been,
because all the pilots in Manchester, so good, isn't it?
there's just
Yes.
no wind.
Other than that one that was overnight, with the rain.
Yeah, the one that was overnight the other day, that was
Yeah.
crazy. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was the one.
Everything was going around.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, one of the cabin crew I know, they'd had 2 goes and they ended up in Glasgow.
Wow.
But a massive thanks to all the support that was coming in as well, guys. 98. Wow, we've just gone to 99 memberships as Doug Jones has just joined business class. Who is going to be member number 100 today, folks, on a midweek show? 100 gifted memberships.
That's crazy.
Crazy, guys.
For a midweek.
Laura Denton. There you go. Laura, you're member number 100 on today's show.
Wow.
Thank you so much, guys. 100 gifted memberships on a midweek show. You guys are nuts.
I wonder if she just signed up in like a split second to be number 100, or was it a coincidence? Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much, guys. 100 gifted memberships coming in. Absolute legends. Lots of love and support coming in on the YouTube channel. If you are watching on Twitch, get involved in the chat as well. We are keeping an eye on the Twitch chat.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, we've got myself and Martin presenting today, but we've also got a guest, Captain Mark, who's an Airbus captain based here at Manchester Airport. Flies some of the Airbus airliners here.
His dream job is one of the Boeing ones, though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, if Jet2 would give me 4 days on, 4 days off on a 757, I'd go tomorrow.
Yeah.
You'll have to go back on that and have another go.
They do...
Don't think it'd be a job for very long, though, would it?
Yeah.
Well, we'd have to go back on the wobbly wing-littered wonder again, wouldn't I?
But I suppose you'd have another airline you could fly with Jet2 going forward anyway, so...
Yeah, I mean, it'd always keep the 320 rating current. That seems to be the most useful rating in the world at the moment.
It does. Speaking of jobs, actually, we mentioned it on last show. There is a job that's popped up at Manchester Airport.
Oh, yes. Have you seen this?
Don't think
And
so.
It's a certain management position
Really?
for a certain terminal
Really?
very close to where we're sitting,
Really?
Yes.
which would indicate that it's going to be making a return at some point.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Which for us, I'm actually quite happy about that. I'd rather, if it's going to be there, it's getting used.
Yes.
So, awesome.
I'd love to try it one day ourselves, see what it's about, see what the deal is, because it's not like just biz jets and stuff, is it? You could actually use it with regular airliners.
Yeah, so the way it works, for anyone who doesn't know Premier, or this was the way it was supposed to work back in the day before COVID came, was that you would book a certain pass to use a Premier terminal. You can use it for anything. And I mean, I don't know if all the airlines supported it, but there's definitely a fair few at Manchester that definitely did. I'm not 100% sure. And basically, you would go to the terminal, they check in, obviously food and everything in there, and then you'd get driven to your flight.
Oh, wow.
You get driven to the flight by a very fancy BMW, and you just skip all of the queues and everything like that, which is pretty cool.
That does sound good.
Pretty good way to fly.
Oh, it does sound good.
Yeah, I think it was about 100 odd quid it was to do. I wonder if that comes with like things like what you get in a one of the premium lounges at T1, T2, T3, where you get like complimentary food, complimentary drinks. This plane coming in now looks very unlit, shall we say? Don't see many lights.
So it does, yeah.
Don't see many lights on her.
Yeah.
What is it? An Airbus?
Yeah, it's not got the landing lights on. Well, if they do, no, they're not on, are they?
The wingtip lights and the strobes are on, but the actual landing lights on the nose aren't.
Interesting.
The ones under the wing aren't either.
What's the deal with that? That's just a missed checklist, isn't it?
It's not even on a checklist. It's just a part of the procedure that when the gear goes down, you stick all the lights on. But unless they're not working.
Interesting.
Julius P's asking, who did I fly the 75 with? That was a company called Astraeus many years ago.
So I wonder if we'll see them, because pilots have flows, don't they, as they exit a runway. I wonder if they'll go up and we'll see them realise that they went on it.
Our procedures changed recently. It's always used to be pilot monitoring would do the lights. And to go in line with Airbus, they change it to pilot flying does the lights. And to me, it's
Why?
absolutely ridiculous.
Why interfere with that? I don't
Well, I mean, it was there you are. They put it on rather than turn it off. I think it's just ridiculous.
Or is that nose light? Is that
That's a taxi light.
taxi light?
Yeah, you've got turn-off lights there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Which ones are the runway turn-offs?
they are
That's the wing lights. Isn't it?
down there, just below, because they're on the angle.
This one here.
No,
right.
that's the up a bit. Yeah, that's the Oleo. You've got them just above there. They're faced at an angle.
Right. Okay.
So you've got a taxi light and you've got the landing light.
Oh, I see. I'm just down below it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've only got one on at the moment. So maybe they weren't working. But yeah, I mean, when they first changed to it, you had guys coming off the high-speed, taxi at 40 knots, whatever. Suddenly, trying to mess about with the lights. I'm like, leave them. I call them bullshit items. Leave them. Don't touch them. Get the aircraft in a safe place, point in a safe direction, and then you can fanny about with the lights till you're blue in the face, or tell me to do it. or get your mate to do it. But yeah, just to me it seems a ridiculous change. But they've changed it to be more like Airbus, and Airbus seem to think that's the best way of doing it for some unknown reason.
Just catching a bit of the training going on there at the fire training centre. Get a bit of that flame over here, warm us all up a bit.
I'm muted.
You're muted.
We also had Dean sending in a very generous £20 donation to the channel.
Ah, Dean,
saying massive shout out to all fellow neurodivergent people. I don't know what that means.
It's like, how would you? I mean, that's the best word to describe it. But like, they think differently, should we say?
I'll take that. I'll take that. Thank you very much, mate. Cheers for the 20.
I'm not sure if it's saying that we're that. I think it's more saying shout out to people who may have them. Would you call it a disability? It's a bit of a not an ideal word, but yeah.
Transavia coming in as well in the shorter of the 737s.
Seen, is it Transavia who've just had the A320 Neos delivered as well?
Yeah,
they look
good, didn't they?
Yeah, they've got USB-C chargers in the seats and nice cup holders as well. Look really smart.
I've got a question here from Daniel again. Can you choose not to autopilot the plane for such a long distance unnecessarily? Right. I mean, when I used to fly at the Cape Verde Islands, we used to go from Boa Vista to Sal, it's about 15 minutes. We used to hand fly it just for fun. I used to hand fly around Africa on the 7.5, used to hand fly up to the top of climb, just for practice. I know people who've flown from Belfast to Newcastle hand fly it all the way. When you're above 29,000 feet, you're in airspace what's called RVSM, reduced vertical separation minimum. You've got to use an autopilot. That's part of the rules. If you lose the autopilot, you've got to descend because you've only got 1,000-foot separation. So when you're above 29, you've got to use it. If it's an auto land and thick fog, you've got to use it because you can't see the runway. So the airlines like you to use the autopilot as much as possible because it burns less fuel.
Yeah.
But they also like you to fly the aircraft so you keep your skills up. So it's a bit of a mix. I mean, if it's blowing a gale, like I said on the Airbus, I'd leave the autopilot in as long as possible. On a Boeing, I'd take it out early and get the feel for it. But yeah, I mean, you can. The downside of you doing hand flying, like say you're going to do a visual approach into somewhere, you've got to brief it thoroughly. Your mate's workload goes up because he's monitoring you a lot more. Whereas you're both monitoring the autopilot, if you're suddenly hand flying it, he's got to keep a really close eye on you, call out any exceedances, call out speeds, headings, whatever, heights, track, deviation, localizer, glide slope. So his workload's gone up dramatically. So you've got to be sensible when you choose to do it.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks again, Dean, for your donation, mate. Apologies for my lack of knowledge in that word there, but yeah, no, it is good that we can provide a space for everybody on the Airliners live stream. That's what we aim to do with the community, and it's like what we do with every part of the community, really. We just try and make it a really welcoming place and quite an understanding team as well behind the stream, so it's great to have you with us, and thank you very much for recognising that with your donation as well. And we also had a donation coming in from Ian on the Ko-fi page saying, just a small thank you for all your efforts. All the best from Ian with a £5 Ko-fi donation. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate that. And Ken just saying good night to everybody from Australia, saying it's past midnight over there now. Thank you very much for tuning in today. And thank you very much to everyone in the Airliners Live community for making the channel what it is today. It's we do say it quite regularly. It is something that we're really proud of, is the Airliners Live community and how friendly and positive and welcoming the whole community is here on the channel. It's very rare as a new viewer that you'd come into our stream and see sort of nastiness or name calling or anything like that. It's just great that everyone can kind of come in and spend a lot of time with each other. And we've had people email in just saying how nice it is every Sunday. It's like they're just coming in to have a chat with their mates. every Sunday, which is really, really good. It's exactly what we're trying to build up on the channel.
Got a really good question here from Lynn, actually. It's a good question, this one. If some airports are captain-only landings, how do the co-pilots get experience to land at them? Well, they don't initially. They get to see it. You know, say the southerly runway at Dalaman, captains only, coming over the hills. Southerly runway at Arrecife is captain only, coming in those hills. So before you get to be a captain, you've got to have lots, you know, a fair bit of experience. The chance, hopefully, you would have seen all of this, and you'd have seen how the guys do it. And whenever I've got someone coming up for command, I always tell them, I say, look at the guys who make it look easy and copy them mercilessly, and look at the ones who are hard work and upset everybody and upset the crew and make a difficult day and just avoid what they do. So they've got to see it all before, and then when they do the command course, they will have a look at some of you know, the more difficult approaches on the command course. You'll do, you know, you do narrow runways, you do strong crosswinds, and then our airline, when you're a new captain, you get 3 stars next to your name, which means you can't go to a certain airports, you can't fly with brand new cadets, you've got to fly with experienced first officers. And then when the stars are removed after your first simulator check after 6 months, then, you know, it's up to you and off you go. But the notes we've got are very good on them. You know, you'll see it, you'll work out how to do it. It's not just thrown in the deep end and there you are, son, off you go, get on with it.
As you can see, wind pretty variable here at the airport today. And not on that windsock though.
Yeah.
That's blowing straight across,
Nice
isn't it?
steady 20 there, isn't it? There's the Virgin 330 off to Atlanta.
Oh, lovely. And with the Airbus, it auto handles the rudder, doesn't it, for you on approach, in terms of correcting for a lot of the crabbing that you'd need to do.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, with a light aircraft, you want to be, you know, you want to use the rudder. You want to lead into turns with a little bit of rudder. On a jet, you don't touch it. The only times you touch it is for an engine failure and when you kick it straight on landing. So, you know, when you look at this one landing here, if it had more of a crosswind, in the flare you would kick it straight with the rudder. But the Airbus, you know, is designed to keep you, like I said earlier, however you set it up. So 2.5 degrees nose up, wings level. If you get a bump, the computers go, hang on, he didn't want that, let's put it back to where we wanted it. But it takes a little bit of time, so you end up out of sync with it. But you know, in the flare, you're still going to have to give it a big boot of rudder to straighten it up and keep it going straight. And then you're going to use the rudder as you come down the, you know, the runway to keep it straight as well.
Yeah. Easy does it. Going to sail right past the 2 exits we usually see them use.
So a rush to get off.
No, it's not that busy, is it? We missed a good one earlier, actually. It's a very, 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 very good friend of mine. Came in early on one of those from Copenhagen, and his godfather, my youngest, he runs a church up in Hexham we used to go to. He's a lovely, lovely, lovely man. And he's on a training flight today. He's on a training flight all week.
Oh, right.
With brand new cadets. So, yeah, I don't think the cadet would be landing in this. The windsock near us actually looks like it's had a little bit of an event.
Oh, it
all wrapped around the pole.
It does feel really gusty. When you look at the windsock on the airfield, it looks not gusty. It's weird.
Oh, now we still out saying he was out on his mountain bikes, and there's a guy who was out on the bikes with knew me from BMX days.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a small world, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Tell you what, the Emirates A380 is due out now, and look at the progress.
Wow. Are we going to see the first on-time A380 departure?
That is.
In a long time.
Yeah, that is unlikely, but I mean, it's looking like it.
Shortbread Airlines is going up well.
Yeah, it's a little 42, isn't it? Getting right out of it.
There is a portion of the taxiway that's closed as well at the moment. Just here.
Yeah, is there a note time for that? I guess it's just complete resurfacing now. So we did see them kind of hanging around that quite a while. And I don't know whether they were doing little patchwork or what they were doing. And then it's been closed for a bit. The A380 on the Sunday show we saw go past the Premier Terminal with some follow-me's and stuff.
That'll be a lovely airport when they finish it.
There's always something going on, isn't there? I mean, they're going to have some... They're doing a lot of works at the moment on T2, aren't they? On the apron there for what's going to be the new pier. Not sure when that's going to be finished, maybe next year or the year after, I forget. But then they're going to be apparently just redoing T1 and T3, aren't they? Completely just getting rid of them and flattening them and then restarting them.
Really?
In the next few years, yeah. Because T1 and T3, I think they do need a redo, don't they? I don't think they're very big, and I think it's not been redone for a long time, like what T2's had. So it needs a redo.
And Greg, are you still in the Twitch chat? I've just realised I completely forgot about your question, mate. If you are still in the Twitch chat, let us know. This aircraft in from Grenoble, Vista Jet.
Oh, nice.
Legacy 500. Lee Fuller, thank you very much for tuning in today, mate. Great to have you with us. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, don't forget, Captain Mark is an airline captain here at Manchester. So feel free to ask any questions you might want to ask a pilot. Could be something technical, could be something what it's like working as a pilot. Feel free to ask in the chat.
Sharon Lock's asking, smaller or larger aircraft easy to fly in the wind? Normally the larger ones are. They've got a lot more mass and a lot more inertia. The only downside is when you've got something big as Fat Albert over there, it's going to be picked up by the wind a bit, isn't it?
Well, this was it. So we were watching that storm the other night, and we were all convinced that 380 was going to go around.
Everything was going around, wasn't it?
Literally everything was going on. I said, that's just going to catch the wind. That huge tail is just going to catch it, and that's it.
We had the radio on, didn't we? And they were getting wasn't it that BA had wind shear like twice in a row?
Yeah.
And had to go back to Heathrow in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the 380, there's a guy I know who I work with, he used to fly it for Emirates. Actually, the 380 is about to push. The beacon's on.
Yes.
But he said it's a beautiful aircraft to fly. Handles beautifully, and again, because it's so big and heavy, it's got so much inertia, it just plows through it. The 75 was like that. It was a big, heavy plane, and it just handled nicely, whereas the 73, especially with the new wing, I found very, very twitchy in the wind.
Right. Mr. Dave Wriggles getting himself timed out on the Twitch channel. I did just catch your question there. It's not one I'll read out on stream, but I will ask Captain Mark after this show. I'm going to mute my mic and just tell him what he said. Stop.
Thank you, Neil. Thanks for tuning in. So you had to go to a meeting. Okay, yeah. Good luck with the meeting, and see you on Sunday.
You've got him. He's dead. Look.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, none.
Yeah, none. The answer.
Yeah, none, because I'm old and fat and ugly and I'm married and I'm not.
I can't believe I got timed out. You've got to know by now you're in a PG stream, Mr. Wriggles. But no,
I think I can figure out what the question was based on.
That
based on that
having
answer.
a bit of an event, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the Maxes as well.
Good to see you, mate. Thank you very much for tuning in. And Sonny chopping your head off with that Twitch sword there. Check them Twitch Primes, Wriggles. I bet you've got one hanging about, haven't you? Anybody else on Twitch? Check those Twitch Primes, guys, if you can support the channel today. We're trying to push towards 150 subscribers on Twitch. Have a look, Twitch crew, if you can support the channel. As this Ryanair Max arrives in.
We'll give it to London Controller already. So. Hey, there's a cupboard behind Martin. If you give some
yeah, do a London Controller. He'll jump in the cupboard.
He'll jump in the cupboard.
Well, I've had Jamie on in the office quite a lot recently. He's been doing a lot of flying, and he's recently just got himself a Mercedes as well.
Oh yeah,
very nice Mercedes.
Yeah, he was talking about that, wasn't he?
And there he is, Mr. Wriggles with a 6 months tier 1. I don't like this bullying tactic, he said. Thank you very much, mate. Welcome back for half a year of membership.
Hello.
Where's the numbers next to that? Has the gold disappeared now?
Next to what?
We used to say members so many out of 150.
Oh, right.
Unless we've... are we at 150? I'm confused. Let me have a look. I might be asking everyone to sub when we're already at 150. That's why the gold's gone.
Huh.
Oh, here we go. 330 on the roll. Beautiful bit of kit.
Yes. Them ribbons. Very beautiful. It's about how much the 330s create them ribbons compared to like the any other airliner.
Oh yeah, no, the goal is still 107 we are currently at on the Twitch channel. 43 to go. Thank you very much. Cheers, Jake. Appreciate it, mate. Beautiful ribbons on that 350 as 330 rather, as that departed us out to Atlanta. And lined up ready to go as Scandinavian back to Oslo. And the Emirates A380 has pushed back, folks, which will be our final departure for today's show. So if you've not clicked that like button yet, now's the time to do so. We'd really appreciate that.
I was going to say, where's that Ryanair come from? But it's had to go around the roadworks there.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
Kev, welcome back for 38 months of Airliners Live membership. Saying Merry Christmas to the Airliners Live crew and everyone from Kev. Thank you very much, mate. Long-term supporter of the channel. Absolute legend. Thank you very much, mate. 38 months. And Jonathan Francis returning for 17 months, saying, love the outfit, Captain Mark.
Yay.
There he is.
I know.
And for anyone wondering in the chat, I know there was a question earlier on, this is a ATEM mini switcher, which has all the cameras coming into it, and this is what we're using to switch all these cameras.
The Extreme Edition.
Extreme.
Daniel's asking, because the steering wheel's usually on the left-hand side and the right pilot is the one flying, who controls the plane during taxiing? The Airbus has steering tillers on both sides.
Both sides.
So
yeah.
whoever's flying is taxiing. Most of our 75s I flew only had the tiller on the captain's side, so the captain will always do the taxiing.
All right.
And then hand over on the runway. They did get a couple with dual tillers at one point. It depends on the airline procedures. Some airlines will just make the captain do all the taxiing. Someone did ask what the tail strike limits are for the 320. 320, 11.5 degrees with the gear fully compressed, and a 321, it's 9.5 degrees. So not a lot, really. Which is why you've got to be careful when you're coming in flat 3.
The keyboard looks like a runway on approach. Yeah, the flickering that you guys can see is not happening for me, don't worry, guys. It's just the shutter speed of the camera that's causing that. Either that or the frame rate.
Where's the A380 gone?
It pushed right back, and it's gone really far back.
Yeah, it's just disappeared out of view.
Mm.
Maybe because where it's situated normally might be blocking that particular, the diverted taxiway.
Yeah.
That's probably the reason, yeah. It still needs to get the traffic around it.
Oh, yeah, they put him on the cross one.
Because Bravo is shut. They'll still have to get past
they put
his
him
nose.
like Papa, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, get him out of the way.
It looks cool, so don't change it. Okay.
Hear that wind blowing, can't you?
You can.
It's picked up a bit.
Yeah. Rich is asking, how do you remember everything? Do you have to have refresher training? Yeah, we do a written exam twice a year, and every 6 months we have we go to simulator where we have our exams and also refresher training on, like what I said earlier, the current events. And what they also do is they love their data, so they put in all the scenarios and they put in the grades that people got on them out of 1 to 4. And then they look at, right, okay, well, we did this, say the flaps jam, we did that really well. Everyone seemed to be all right with that. But this scenario, the numbers were a bit lower. So in the next 6 month sim, we'll have that as a training point.
to clarify and make sure everyone does it right.
Yeah, so if a lot of pilots are struggling with a similar thing, then maybe it's a training issue.
Yeah, training issue, and they'll just retrain you for it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's good to meet you too, Jonathan.
Dave just saying, are you boys planning any trips in 2024? We've not really, I'll be honest, thought about 2024 yet. We've got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes at the show at the moment, and we're just waiting to see how some of that pans out, because that's going to either take a lot of our time or it's going to free up time. So yeah, we're kind of waiting for a few things to sort of filter through at the minute, but I'm sure there will be some abroad shows in 2024. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We've already been looking at the usual March getaway, but it'll be maybe somewhere different this time we're looking at, but we'll keep you updated.
What are you doing up there?
Just trying to get this stuff from.
Yeah, Jonathan's saying it's good to meet us. We were when we went to Palma this year on our first family holiday. Jonathan was on the same flight, so it was good to have a catch up and a natter.
Nice.
That's crazy. There's been a few VIPs and stuff who have had you flying. Or?
Yeah. Took Rebecca down to, where was it? One of the Greek islands, and she had a flight deck visit. That was good on the ground. So yeah, it's always good to meet them all. Have a good chat.
Yeah, I was blown away when we flew to Lanzarote the other week. We flew with EasyJet out of Liverpool, and both ways the pilots were so young. The guy who landed it into Lanza, I even said, I was like, who did that landing? Because that was top notch. He was so young. He looked about 19 or 20. Like, man, I don't know if I'm just getting older.
I was going to say, is it us getting older, or is it them getting younger?
Yeah,
That's the
I
question.
think,
but it was like when you're in school, and there might have been teachers who were like in their 20s.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're a kid, that seems, you know, they must be, you know, they must have like a mortgage and must be married and all that. But when you get to your 20s, you're like, that's not even that old.
Yeah.
I can't remember that far ago. Joanna saying Greg's has been delivered. Well, there was a Greg's delivery here this morning from Santa's bulging sack.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Unfortunately, there weren't any mince pies, which I'm absolutely gutted about, because they're the best mince pies ever. Shannon's asking, hard at land or take off in heavy wind? Always hard at land. Takeoff's not too bad. Landing's hard in strong winds.
Do you ever have like a strong headwind? Does that make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad with strong headwind. You just got to be careful of the gusts. It's when it's across, it's a pain in the bum, because you're coming in sideways and you've got to kick it straight and keep in line with the centre line. If it's straight down the runway, it's strong, you know, really strong.
Yeah.
It'll be choppy, but it's a lot easier. A lot easier. What was Daniel was asking, I think.
And there was a question from Ian as well, saying, what do ATC mean by non-standard before some frequency changes?
Oh, yeah, because when you get one of our departures out of there, they'll say Continental Scottish non-standard 133.8. The standard frequency, I think, is... let me have a look, see if I can find it. It's not that one. Standard frequency with 128055. Now, if they're quiet at certain parts of the day or the year, they won't have a controller on that frequency. So the next controller you'll talk to is 133.8. It's one I remember very, very well from the days in Newcastle. So you'll just go straight to them. When they're really busy in the middle of summer, that 128055 will be working, and you'll go to that, and then once you're clear, then he'll pass you on to the next one. But it's just if one of the controller stations isn't operating, they'll just send you to a non-standard frequency, because you've got it on your charts that will say what your next frequency will be. And it's always a good idea before you take off, and this, I don't know whether this will help the sim guys at all, but before you take off, dial in your next frequency on your box, even if you're flying it, because if something happens, you take off and there's a bang and all the bells and whistles are going off, when you've got the aircraft flying safely, your call's going to be my radio's ECAM actions, and you're going to need that frequency, because tower's not going to want to talk to you. They're going to want to talk you to approach, because you're going to be vectoring around and going off and holding. So if you've got that frequency there and they say, I'll contact approach on whatever it is, 11855, whatever, yep, bing, it's there.
Yeah, it is just good management, relieves the stress off you as well, trying to dial a frequency in.
Yeah, you don't
It's
need
even
it.
the same like in a busy London frequency on VATSIM. If you know that London's going to hand you off somewhere, and you're trying to, especially with the thing is with VATSIM is you're flying by yourself as well, so everything in the real world you got two people doing, you're doing all by yourself. So things like pre-programming, and that's something I always try and do, is look ahead at who's flying to Manchester and what did they get sent to. And then when I've heard that a couple of times, like, right, I'm probably going to get sent there, get it dialed in, and it's just a case of just clicking the button, isn't it?
Yeah, and that it's good. You know, that's a good habit to get into. We do it when we're coming in to land at an airport. You know, say you've got someone with this ridiculous arrival in that get up and down the house. You know, look at what the other aircraft are doing on your TCAS. See where they're getting sent, and you can say, right, well, I'm fairly sure we're going to go to this point, and then they're going to cut us in early and bring us in, instead of sending us out 20 miles to come back in 20 miles. So for your descent planning, you're 3 times stable, you're ahead of the game. You know you're going to get the shortcuts. You can get the height off early rather than, you know, working like a one-armed taxi driver with crabs. Suddenly you're given this shortcut and now you're 7,000 feet high.
Yeah.
So, you know, thinking ahead.
A380's got a bit of speed on the old taxi there.
I just got confirmation as well from Mr. Matt Smith that he'll be doing his show on Friday.
Ooh, fantastic.
So tune in, folks, from about 11 a.m. here on Airliners Live for another bit of live Manchester action.
Amazing.
Matt Smith. Friday.
Jason's asking if the airport's captains only, the captain became unwell and couldn't carry on with FO land, or they divert. They'd have to divert. You'd have to be. If you're a very, very experienced FO and there really was nowhere else to go, then you know they could do it. But I mean, there was a captain taken ill last year, a friend of mine, very, very good man, taken ill on the flight, and they diverted into Split. Now, one in 05 at Split is captains only, and 23 is anyone. And they were trying to get him to land on the 05. He said, I can't, it's captains only. And I've got the captains unconscious, or there or thereabouts. And they're like, no, you must take 05. The wind was calm, you know, very light. There was no reason, and he knew he could get in on 23, done the landing berth. And they kept trying to make him do 05. And in the end, I think he declared a mayday and just said, I am landing on 23.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. That's amazing.
Joe Jones is asking, when having a medical emergency in flight, how do you pick what airports are most suitable? Do you have a list of best? If you go on Airliners Live or Airliners Lounge, where there's a podcast that I did, I talk about that. The best way of doing it, go on your map, go to plan 160, and it shows you 80 miles ahead, 80 miles behind, because your best airport might be behind. And if the cabin crew call you up and say, we've got an ill passenger, we might have to divert, straight away you're printing off the weathers for the airports that are around. And then what you can do is you can set up the secondary flight plan with those nearest airports in and make the decision then. And as you're going along, you're updating your flight plan. So say you've left Amsterdam behind and you're now approaching I don't know, somewhere over Germany, say Frankfurt. So Frankfurt's now the main one. And what's after Frankfurt? Oh, okay, we've got Munich. So Munich's now your second choice. And then you pass over Frankfurt. For Munich becomes your number one. And then something else, Vienna will become your number two. And you just keep updating it, getting your weathers as you're going. And so that when they call up and say, yeah, this bloke's really ill, we need to divert, you're not sitting there going, oh, do I need to, where am I going to go? You've done it all.
It might be a silly question, but like, let's say you're flying over a country that you're not super familiar with, like somewhere in like Eastern Europe or something.
Yeah.
And you have this situation, and you say you're looking at all the local airports about what weather and stuff are there and where we can go. How would you know which airports to check? Like how would you know which airports are suitable for your airliner? Is there like a way to do that? Have you got like a chart?
Yeah, we've got this chart here. I mean, Martin can see it, and you guys can't, but it's got all the airports on. So you tap on the airport, and it shows me. I've pulled up Châteauroux. And it shows me it's got an ILS on one end and an RNP on the other.
Yep.
And then I go to the next page and it tells me the runway's 3,500 metres long. So as long as the weather's suitable, that'll be a good one to go to.
Because you're not going to pick an airport and then fly down and see it's just got like a grass runway or something.
Yeah, I mean, the only one on our database, we've only got certain airports, that we can go to, and we've got in our charts.
Yep.
So you wouldn't, there's what's it called, Buchel. We haven't got that in our database. We wouldn't go there. But next to it, you've got Frankfurt Hahn. We could go there because we've got the charts for it.
Amazing.
Nigel, thank you so much, mate. Sending in a £5 donation, saying a great show, lads. Good to hear Mark with all his background knowledge from Nigel in chat. And thanks for all your help as well this year, Nigel, getting our radio sorted out in the Airliners Live HQ.
Yeah, great guy.
Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that.
I like that question by Lee.
Yeah.
Saying to what degree or what depth you do a pre-flight on an aircraft, even like oil level and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you do the walk round. The engineers will check it every day. It has a daily inspection by the engineers. We'll do a walk round, make sure it's all, nothing leaking, no bits hanging off. When you get in the flight deck, you check on your lower ECAM screen, and you can see the oil level.
Right.
So you know, and you write it in the tech log what it is. You also check your hydraulics, and you check your fuel. And it's down. Oh, look at that. He had a bit of a wobble,
Wing wave,
bit of a wing drop. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you'll set it up from inside, but yeah, you'll definitely check what it is, and you'll definitely check the relevant things. The pre-flight, they give us an hour to do it, but yeah, you do one of you, the guy who's not flying will do the walk around, the other one will set the flight deck up, and the captain will always write in the tech log what the fuel, and there's certain calculations you have to do with the fuel. So it'll have the shutdown fuel, what the last person landed with, and then you'll put on what fuel you've got, and you have to do a calculation when you get the litres from the fueler to make sure they've put the right amount of fuel on and there's no leaks.
And for anyone who might be new on VATSIM, when there's not a controller online on VATSIM, you get handed over to a frequency called Unicom, which is 122.8. And that's basically when there isn't a controller in your area.
Yeah.
You just get handed over to that until you pass into a next sector.
Yeah.
So there's nowhere like that in the world where it's just literally uncontrolled. Then it's just the whole world is controlled at all times.
Right. Okay.
That's the case. And
I did wonder where that number came from, because like they said, their guard frequency is 1215. So you'll hear emergencies on there from time to time. It's normally air traffic controllers calling people who've not changed frequency or not checked in with the next sector and they've lost the comms. And if they don't reply, then you're going to get a couple of jets pull up alongside you and start waving their hands at you quite violently.
What about like the North Atlantic? Is that... do you have a frequency for that?
Yeah, you've got HF radios for that. I mean, a lot of it's done over the CPDLC data links now. Yeah. But we do a thing, we go down the Tango routes, the Canaries, and you have to use HF radios. So you're bouncing radio waves off the ionosphere. I mean, it's archaic. It really is ridiculous, but it's cheap.
Yeah.
And you've got some guy in Shannon sitting in a hut. He's not even a proper, they're not proper air traffic controllers. They're these en route controllers. And you tell them when you're going to get to this point, at what time, at what level you want to go at, what level you can go at, what speed you want, and what time you're at the next point, and what the next point is, and then they'll give you a clearance for that. But it's ridiculous, 2023, and we're messing about.
Yeah.
It's frightening. Really.
I always thought it was a bit eerie how like radar pass you off to nobody when you go across the North Atlantic.
Yeah.
Like radar services terminated. There you go.
Yeah,
You're on
that's
your own.
it. Yeah, I mean, even at certain airports, you're going to get that. There's an awful lot of airports, even in Europe, still that don't have radar.
Yeah.
And it's all procedural, and it's interesting.
I suppose part of it is these days you've got like TCAS and stuff, and it's all very sophisticated. It's not like you're constantly on the lookout for if there's a plane, or now it's just you can kind of relax and know that the plane will look after you. Same with weather, I guess, as well.
Yeah. That's if the aircraft around you's got TCAS.
Yeah.
Daniel's asking, any of my kids interested in aviation? Thankfully, no.
I was having a look why that 380 is not moving. There is an EasyJet for Tenerife just on the runway. Emirates is moving now. Of course, it goes without saying there is a Virgin Atlantic A330 right behind it, so we'll grab that for you guys as well. And then that'll wrap us up for today's show. Hope you're all enjoying it. Enrico, great to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well, dude. Congrats on the 6-day subathon as well, by the way, mate. Awesome job.
Amatory Moon's asking, wasn't there an issue with miscalculation of fuel units? Yes. If you Google the Gimli glider, it was an Air Canada 767 when it first came into service. There was a problem with fuel gauges, and there was a miscalculation of the fuel converting litres into kilos, and they ran out of fuel.
Wow.
And because the captain was an accomplished glider pilot, he managed to land it into a disused airfield that had like a car race on it at the time. It was quite interesting.
We had Mac 1 returning for 9 months of Airliners Live membership coming in saying, Merry Christmas, Martin, Andy, Matt and all the crew. I may be around for Matt's show on Friday, but away on Sunday, so Merry Christmas to all. Thank you very much, Mac 1. Really appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Our mate with the best barbecue in the world, Mr. Enrico, with the 150 ZAR donation, which is about 50p. Saying, hello, Captain. How many gifted for a cockpit tour at the Airbus A380? Says. Merry holidays, everyone, and also love you, Martin. Hey, Enrico. Thank you, mate. And apologies, I've not really been in your streams too much recently, but here we go. This is your favourite, mate. This one's for you, buddy. Emirates A380 blasting off. Here we go. Let's turn the mics up. Amazing.
Captain Mark will have to sneak onto that A380 one day and get a little flight deck tour for us.
Go on, you sort it out. Flash your Airbus badge.
Yeah, I'm a pilot.
All right, boys.
Yeah,
I've got
just
the
like
stripes.
scribble that 2 out and put an A on there. And thank you very much, mate, again for the 140 ZAR donation. Absolutely awesome, mate. Thank you very much, dude. Hope you got some nice things planned for Christmas as well, mate. And we've got one in to land as what sounds like a bit of a helicopter overhead somewhere. If it's just my ears or whether there's something else going on.
Yeah.
And it's a Ryanair aircraft arriving in from Poland, and then the Virgin Atlantic A330 will be departing for the final movement of today's show. Caroline Fisher sending in a £5 donation to the stream. Thank you so much, Caroline. Really appreciate the support. Saying, just wanted to wish Captain Mark and everyone here a very Merry Christmas. Love watching the streams and just wanted to say keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Caroline.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you. I seen Terry sent me a message asking if there'll be a show tomorrow. Probably not. I'll probably be here filming. There's a small chance I might do a stream, but
Go on. You know you wanna.
It's going to be heavy winds tomorrow, right? Did you say you had the TAF?
Yeah, 42 knots.
42 knots.
It's tempting. We'll see how we do, guys.
Yeah. I
yeah.
definitely want to get some.
We're not going to promise anything, but let's see.
Yeah, especially with there being a match show straight after. I don't want to do too much. But, I mean, if it is...
We'll see how it is when we arrive.
Yeah.
By 6 o'clock, 280-25, gusting 42.
But we can't get in till 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Doesn't really go light till like 8:30 these days.
But that's in, I mean, that TAF goes up to 1800.
Yeah.
And that's in from 6 all day.
Wow.
I mean, that's going to change as the night goes on and they work out what's going on more. But yeah, that's cheeky, that is.
Oh, Mungo's flying tomorrow in a very orange plane.
Is he?
Looking sporty.
It'll be grand.
Yeah, so we know Mungo from the Twitch days, the Flight Sim days. Flight Sim streamer back in the day. He's now a pilot for a certain orange plane.
Oh, okay.
And we all feel it's a travesty that someone called Mungo Spencer isn't flying for the Nigels yet.
Yeah.
I think with that name he should get an instant job, to be honest. But, I think that's the long-term goal, is to get with the...
Is he based at Manchester?
No. He's not. No,
I know he's been here before.
He's been here a couple of times, but yeah, I don't. You're not based at Manchester, are you, Mungo? Unfortunately. But hey, you never know. Maybe you might get to fly with this guy at some point soon. If you do, give him all the grief.
Oh, without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt. Yeah, no Haribos for him. As long as he doesn't do what Fezzer did to me, he'll be all right.
Yeah. Stephen saying Friday is the shortest day. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the days getting longer. Here we go, 3:30's on the roll. Last departure of today's show, guys. Thank you so much for all the support. 100 gifted memberships on YouTube. Support coming in on Twitch with 1,000 bits as well. Thank you very much, guys. Belfast based viewers. There it goes, the awesome Virgin Atlantic A330 to wrap up what's been an absolutely awesome midweek show.
Been good.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark, for coming down today and spending a day with us. Been good fun, mate.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely
Happy
awesome.
Christmas, everyone.
Happy Christmas. Have a good one as well. Good to see you. And we'll be doing some more filming with this guy for some more Pilot Explains videos just after Christmas, probably. Have a bit of a knees up at the old office. Andy up there operating the cameras. There's two now.
Thank you. Yeah, there is two. Just about to see him.
Yeah. We've put his GoPro away because it was giving us grief, so we'll get that fixed for next time as well. There it is. There we go. It's all Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. If we don't see you on Sunday, have a very Merry Christmas from everyone here at Airliners Live. But don't forget, we are live Christmas Eve for a normal show here from Manchester Airport, and we are live New Year's Eve as well. So if you are spending some time maybe alone over Christmas, maybe you don't particularly enjoy Christmas, make sure you come in Christmas Eve and come and hang out with everybody here on the Airliners live stream, guys. We'll be here with you Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, so we'll look forward to seeing you then. But thank you very, very much for tuning in. Brown Bill's already packing up. I'm not going to have a tower shot for the end of the stream.
I need to go.
He needs to go. Take it easy, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. We've been Airliners Live. Captain Mark with us as well. See you.
See you
Bye.
later. See you. Bye. See you Friday.
Reindeer fly. You can't see them on their sleigh ride across the sky. Gather all your friends around, or go out and paint the town. It's the only time of year the whole wide world turns upside down. So baby, light a fire and we'll toast the night away, because Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming.